There is a kind of night that feels heavier than others. A night that does not glow. A night that does not whisper with distant lights. A night that simply settles and stays. In medieval Europe, night was not something gentle. It did not slowly fade in with comfort. It did not arrive with warmth. It arrived quietly, but completely. And once it came, it surrounded everything. You can imagine yourself there now, far away from the present, far away from soft beds and steady electricity, far away from clocks and screens. You are inside a small wooden house. The walls are rough beneath your fingers. They are made from timber that still carries the faint scent of the forest. In some places, the wood has small cracks where the cold air slips through without asking. The room is dim. A single candle burns slowly nearby. Its flame moves gently, like it is breathing. Sometimes it leans to one side, sometimes it stands still, and sometimes it flickers just enough to make the shadows on the wall feel alive. The day has already ended, not suddenly, but slowly. The light faded little by little until the world outside became a quiet shape of darkness. There are no glowing streets, no distant buildings filled with light, no soft hum of anything mechanical, only silence. And even that silence is never complete. If you listen carefully, you begin to notice small sounds. The wood of the house gently settling, a faint creak from somewhere above, the soft movement of wind pressing against the shutters. Outside, the night is wide and open. There are no barriers to hold it back. The fields stretch out into darkness. The trees stand still, their shapes barely visible. And the sky above, it is filled with stars. More stars than you might expect. Without the lights of cities, the sky feels endless, deep and quiet. But even that beauty does not bring comfort, because the darkness below is just as deep. You shift slightly where you are resting. Your bed is not soft in the way you are used to. It is made of a wooden frame, simple, firm, unforgiving. On top of it, there is a mattress stuffed with straw. The straw is dry. It has a faint, earthy smell. When you move, it makes a soft rustling sound. It does not shape itself to your body. It does not cradle you. Instead, you feel the uneven surface beneath you. Small bumps, slight hollows. You adjust your position again, slowly, trying to find comfort. A wool blanket covers you. It is thick but not perfectly warm. There are small gaps where the cold air finds its way in. You pull it closer. The air inside the room is still, but it is not entirely quiet. From somewhere nearby, you hear breathing, slow, heavy, uneven. You are not alone in this room. In medieval homes, space was shared. Families slept together, sometimes several people in one room, sometimes even in the same bed. The warmth of bodies helped against the cold, but it also brought restlessness. Someone shifts in their sleep. The straw mattress moves again. A quiet sigh fills the darkness. Then stillness returns, for a moment. You close your eyes, and yet sleep does not come easily. Because night here is not just darkness, it is uncertainty. There are no locks as you know them, no strong barriers between inside and outside. The door is wooden, simple. It can be opened. And that thought stays somewhere in your mind. Not loud, not sharp, just present. Outside, the wind moves again, this time a little stronger.
You hear it pass along the walls, a low, gentle sound. Then something else, a faint noise from far away. It is hard to tell what it is. Maybe an animal, maybe something moving through the fields. You listen without meaning to. Your body stays still. Your breathing becomes quiet. The sound fades, but the feeling remains. In this world, night is not empty. It is filled with things unseen, and the mind does not easily rest in such a place. You turn slightly onto your side. The straw shifts beneath you again. A small piece presses against your arm. You move your hand to adjust it. These small discomforts, they never fully disappear. They stay with you, like the cold, like the darkness, like the quiet awareness that sleep is not guaranteed. Time passes slowly. There is no clock to measure it, no glowing numbers, only the feeling of waiting. Waiting for sleep to arrive, waiting for the body to let go. But in medieval Europe, sleep was rarely smooth. It came in pieces. It came in moments. And sometimes it did not come at all. The candle beside you grows shorter. Its flame becomes smaller. The shadows in the room stretch longer, and the night continues, deep and steady. You listen again, the breathing beside you, the soft movement of wood, the distant whisper of wind. All of it blends together, slowly, gently, but never fully comforting. Because this is a world where the night holds more than rest. It holds cold floors beneath bare feet. It holds unseen creatures in dark corners. It holds thoughts that grow louder when everything else becomes quiet. And so, even as your body grows tired, your mind stays awake a little longer, drifting, but not fully gone, resting, but not fully at peace. And this was only the beginning of the night, because in the medieval world, sleep was not a single simple thing. It was something that came and went, something that could be broken, something that could be lost without warning. And as the hours slowly pass, the darkness does not change. It simply remains, waiting, quiet, endless.
The night does not move quickly. It stretches slowly, like a long breath that never quite ends. You are still lying there, on the uneven bed of straw, wrapped in the weight of a wool blanket that never feels fully warm. The candle has grown smaller now. Its light is softer, more fragile. It leans slightly, as if it too is becoming tired. Shadows gather in the corners of the room. They are no longer shapes you can easily understand. They blur and shift when the flame trembles. You keep your eyes closed for a while, not sleeping, just resting in the darkness behind your eyelids. And in that quiet space, your mind begins to wander. This is something people in the medieval world knew very well. Sleep did not come all at once. It arrived in pieces, softly, uncertainly. Sometimes you would drift into a light sleep, only to wake again not long after. And this was not unusual. It was simply how nights were. The body would rest for a short time, then rise again into awareness, not fully awake, not fully asleep, just somewhere in between. You shift slightly. The straw beneath you answers with a quiet rustle. Someone beside you moves too, almost in response. A slow turn, a faint murmur, then stillness again. The air feels cooler now. The warmth that was held from the day has faded. You can feel it most around your face, a gentle, steady cold. You pull the blanket closer once more. It helps, but only a little. In homes like this, Warmth was something that came and went. There was no steady heat, no quiet system working through the night, only what remained from the fire and what could be shared between bodies, and even that was never enough. Somewhere in the room you hear a soft scratching sound. It is small, faint, but clear enough to notice. You stay still, listening. The sound comes again, a light scrape against wood. It might be a mouse, or something just as small. In medieval homes, this was common. The walls were not sealed, the floors were not closed. There were always small openings, places where tiny creatures could pass through. You imagine it moving along the edge of the room, quick, silent, unseen. The thought lingers, but it does not surprise you. It is simply part of the night, just like the cold, just like the darkness, just like the long waiting between moments of sleep. You open your eyes again. The candlelight flickers gently. For a moment, everything feels still. Then the flame dips slightly, and the room grows dimmer. You watch it without thinking. Your eyes follow the small movement of light. It is almost calming, the way it moves, the way it breathes. But even this small comfort is temporary, because candles do not last, and when they are gone, the darkness becomes complete. Outside, the wind has quieted. The world feels heavier now, as if everything is resting, but not peacefully. There are no distant sounds of travel, no wheels on roads, no voices carried from afar, only the land itself, still, deep, and endless. You begin to feel your body sink slightly into the bed, not because it is soft, but because you are tired, very tired. The kind of tired that builds slowly through the day, from work, from movement, from simply existing in a world that requires effort for everything. And yet, sleep does not fully take you, because something always interrupts. A sound, a feeling, a shift in temperature, even your own thoughts. In medieval Europe, people often woke in the middle of the night. It was so common that it felt natural. They would sleep for a while, then wake and stay awake for some time. This quiet period between sleeps was part of life, a space where the world was silent, but the mind was not. You feel that space now, a soft awareness. You are not restless, but you are not fully at peace. Your breathing is slow. Your body is still, but your mind drifts gently from one thought to another. There is no urgency, no rush, just a slow movement of awareness. Beside you, someone exhales deeply, a long, tired breath. It fades into the quiet, then nothing again. You listen, and in that listening, the night feels even larger, as if it stretches far beyond the walls of this house, across fields, across forests, across countless other homes just like this one, where others lie awake, feeling the same cold, hearing the same small sounds, waiting for sleep to return. Time passes. You do not know how much. It could be minutes, it could be hours. There is no way to tell, only the feeling of stillness slowly shifting. The candlelight flickers again, weaker now. Its light barely reaches the far wall, and in that dim glow, the room feels softer, less defined, almost like a dream, even though you are still awake. Your eyes begin to close once more, this time a little heavier. Your body relaxes just a little more. The sounds of the night fade slightly into the background, not gone, just quieter, more distant. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts become less clear. They drift gently, like clouds moving across a dark sky. And for a moment, it feels like sleep might finally come. But even as it approaches, the night remains, holding everything in its quiet, steady presence. And somewhere beyond this moment,
Beyond this fragile drift toward rest, there is still more of the night to pass, more hours, more waking, more silence. Because in this world, sleep is never one long, peaceful stretch. It is something softer, something broken, something that comes and goes, like the faint movement of candlelight in a dark room.
The night continues without hurry. It does not change all at once. It simply deepens, little by little. You were still resting on the straw mattress, your body heavy, your mind drifting in that quiet space between waking and sleep. The candle is nearly gone now. Its flame is small and unsteady. Sometimes it glows, and sometimes it fades, as if it might disappear at any moment. The room feels softer in this dim light. Edges blur. Shadows gather and stretch across the walls in slow, uncertain shapes. And in this gentle darkness, the sounds of the night begin to feel more present. Not louder, just closer. You hear the wood again, a slow creak from somewhere above. It comes without warning, then fades. The house is always moving, even when everything seems still. The beams shift slightly as the air cools. The walls settle. The floor answers with a faint, hollow sound. It is not a frightening noise, not exactly, but it is enough to remind you that nothing here is completely quiet. You listen, without meaning to. Your body remains still. Your breathing stays slow, but your attention moves gently from one sound to another. Outside, something brushes against the wall, a soft, dragging sound. It could be the wind moving a loose branch, or something passing close to the house. You do not sit up. You do not move. You simply notice. And in noticing, the night feels wider. In the medieval world, darkness was not empty. It was filled with things that could not always be seen. Animals moved freely through the fields. Foxes, dogs, creatures small and quiet. Their steps were light, but sometimes just loud enough to be heard. And without light, every sound carried more weight. You hear it again, a faint movement, then stillness. Your mind does not rush to understand it. It simply holds the sound and lets it rest there. Somewhere nearby, a person shifts in their sleep. The straw beneath them whispers softly. A low murmur follows, words that are not clear. Then silence returns once more. The room feels full, even in stillness, full of breath, full of quiet movement, full of presence. And yet something about the night keeps the body from fully letting go. Because beyond the simple sounds, there are also the things that cannot be easily explained. In medieval Europe, the night was often tied to belief. Not loud belief, not spoken all the time, but something that lived quietly in the mind. There was a sense that the darkness held more than just the absence of light. It held the unknown. People spoke softly of spirits, of unseen forces, of things that moved when the world was asleep. Not always with fear, but with a quiet awareness, a kind of careful respect for the night. And even if no one spoke of it now, as you lie there listening, that feeling lingers. It rests somewhere deep beneath thought. You open your eyes slightly. The candle flickers again. For a moment, the shadow on the wall seems to move in a way that does not match the flame. It shifts, then stills. You watch it for a moment longer, then you let your eyes close again. There is no need to follow it. The mind is tired, too tired to chase every small thing, and yet not tired enough to fully sleep. The air grows colder. You feel it along your hands, along your face. It settles gently, like a thin layer over everything. In this time, Warmth was never constant. It came and went like sleep itself. You pull the blanket closer again. The wool scratches slightly against your skin. It is rough, but familiar. Everything here is familiar. The sounds, the cold, the uneven bed, even the quiet unease of the night. It is something people lived with every day, or every night. And because of that, it becomes almost normal. Almost. Another sound reaches you, this one softer, a faint tapping somewhere far off, perhaps a loose piece of wood, or something small touching against the outside wall. It comes once, then again, then fades. Your breathing slows further. Your body sinks a little deeper into stillness. The sounds no longer pull your attention as strongly. They begin to blend together. The creak of wood, the whisper of wind, the distant, uncertain movements of the outside world. All of it becomes one soft layer of sound, a quiet background to the long night. And in that soft blending, something shifts. Not in the room, not outside, but within you. The mind begins to loosen. Thoughts no longer hold their shape. They drift more easily now, fading at the edges. The awareness of each sound becomes softer, less defined, as if the night itself is gently pulling everything into a slower rhythm. This is how sleep sometimes came, not suddenly, not completely, but slowly through layers of quiet. Even in a world filled with small discomforts, even in a place where darkness held uncertainty, the body would still find its way, eventually. You rest there, between waking and dreaming, between sound and silence, between the known and the unseen. And the night continues around you, unchanging, endless, soft in its own soft way, but never entirely peaceful. Because in medieval Europe, the night was something to move through, not something to fully escape. And as you drift just slightly deeper, the sounds remain, gentle, steady, always there, like the slow breathing of the world itself.
The night has settled fully now. There is no candlelight left, no soft glow to shape the room, only darkness, deep and complete. You are still lying there, your body heavy, your breathing slow. For a moment, it almost feels like you have slipped into sleep. Not deeply, not completely, but enough to drift away from the sharp edges of awareness. And yet, the body never fully forgets where it is, because comfort here is never constant. It shifts slowly, like everything else. Beneath you, the straw mattress presses unevenly against your back. At first, it seemed manageable, something you could ignore, but over time, the small discomforts begin to return. A single piece of straw bends in the wrong direction. It presses lightly into your side. Not painful, just enough to be noticed. You move slightly. The straw answers with a soft rustling sound. For a brief moment, it feels better. Then another small pressure appears, somewhere else. This is how these beds were. Simple, practical, but never truly comfortable. The straw inside them would shift and settle over time. It would flatten in some places, gather in others. And as the nights passed, it would grow less even, less supportive, less kind to a resting body. You turn slowly onto your other side. The wooden frame beneath the mattress feels firm, unforgiving. It does not soften. It does not adjust. It simply remains. And so the body must do the adjusting instead. You pull your knees in slightly, trying to find a position that holds, trying to settle again. The blanket moves with you. Its rough wool surface brushes against your skin. It carries a faint scent, earthy, slightly worn, a reminder of many nights before this one. In medieval homes, Bedding was not often cleaned in the way you might expect. It was used again and again. The same straw, the same cloth, the same layers. Over time, they held more than just warmth. They held traces of daily life, dust, sweat, and sometimes small living things. You feel a faint sensation along your arm, light, almost like nothing. Then again, slightly clearer, a small movement. You pause, your body stays still. The feeling comes once more, a gentle tickle, moving slowly. It could be a flea, or something just as small. In these beds, this was common. Tiny insects lived within the straw, hidden, quiet. They moved freely in the dark. You brush your arm lightly. The sensation disappears, but the awareness remains. Not sharp, not alarming, just another layer of discomfort woven into the night. You shift again, carefully this time, trying not to disturb the others beside you. The straw whispers softly beneath your weight, then settles. Nearby, someone exhales in their sleep, a long, steady breath. It fills the quiet space, then fades. The room feels warmer for a moment, not from heat, but from presence, from shared air, shared space. In places like this, people slept close together, not by choice, but by need. Warmth was easier to keep this way, but it also meant that sleep was never entirely your own. Every movement was shared, every sound carried. If one person stirred, others would feel it. If one person awoke, the quiet could shift. You feel a slight movement beside you, a slow turn. The bed shifts under the combined weight. It is small, but enough to disturb the stillness. Then everything settles again. Your body tries to return to rest, but the comfort you found before has faded. The pressure of the straw, the faint awareness of insects, the uneven warmth, all of it keeps the body from fully relaxing. In medieval Europe, sleep was rarely deep for long. It came lightly, and it could be broken easily, even by the smallest things. You close your eyes again, letting your breathing guide you. Slow in, slow out. The darkness around you feels thicker now, heavier, but also softer in a strange way, because without light, there is less to focus on. Only sensation, only feeling. You notice the weight of your body against the bed, the slight tension in your shoulders, the way your hands rest under the blanket. Everything becomes simple, quiet, and in that simplicity, you begin to drift again. But even as you do, another small sensation returns, this time along your leg. Quick, faint, gone before you can fully react. You shift once more, not fully waking, just adjusting. This is how the body moves through the night here, never fully still, never completely at ease, always responding in small, quiet ways. Outside, the air has grown colder still. You can feel it near your face, a thin chill that does not fully leave. Inside the room, the warmth is uneven. Some parts feel slightly warmer, others remain cold. There is no balance, no steady comfort, only change, slow and constant. And so, sleep must find its way through all of this, through the roughness, through the small interruptions, through the quiet discomfort that never quite fades. You breathe slowly. Your body softens again. Not perfectly, but enough. The sounds of the night are still there, but distant now. The movements beside you have quieted. The small sensations come and go, but they no longer hold your full attention. And gradually, you begin to drift once more. Not deeply, not completely, but gently, like a slow current carrying you just beneath the surface. And in this drifting state, the discomfort remains, but it softens at the edges. It becomes part of the background, part of the long, quiet experience of the night. Because in this world, sleep is not something perfect. It is something found, in between, in small moments, in brief rests, in the spaces between sound, sensation, and thought. And as you rest there, half asleep, half aware, the night continues around you, unchanging, patient, endless.
The night has grown very quiet now. Not completely silent, but quieter than before. The small movements have slowed. The sounds have softened. Even the air feels more still. You remain where you are, resting in that gentle space between sleep and waking. Your body has found a kind of rhythm. Not perfect comfort, but something close enough to rest. Your breathing is slow, steady. Your thoughts have faded into something light and distant. And yet, beneath that calm, there is a deeper layer, a quiet heaviness that has been there all along. It is the feeling of the body itself, tired, worn, not just from this night, but from many days before it. In medieval Europe, the body carried its work everywhere. There was no separation between effort and rest. Days were long, filled with movement, with lifting, walking, bending, carrying. Hands were rarely still. Feet were often sore. And when night came, the body did not simply relax. It held on to that tiredness, deep in the muscles, in the joints, in the slow, steady ache that never fully disappeared. You feel that now, a faint stiffness along your back, a dull weight in your legs. Not sharp, not painful, just present. A reminder that rest is never complete. You shift slightly. The movement is slow, careful. The kind of movement that comes from a body that knows its limits. The straw beneath you adjusts. The wooden frame remains firm. Nothing here softens the body completely. Nothing fully supports it. And so, even in rest, there is effort. A small effort to stay comfortable, to remain still, to keep from waking fully. Nearby, someone breathes unevenly. A quiet pause, then a deeper inhale, then another pause. Sleep here is rarely smooth. It moves in waves, light, broken, interrupted. Some nights, people would wake often, not always fully aware, just enough to turn, to adjust, to notice something small, and then drift again. But even this drifting did not always bring true rest, because the body carried more than simple tiredness. It carried illness, quiet, hidden, constant. In this time, sickness was not always something sudden. It was often something slow, lingering, always close. A cough that never fully left, a weakness that stayed in the chest, a heaviness in the limbs that did not belong to the day alone. You hear it now, a soft cough from somewhere in the room, dry, brief, but enough to break the stillness. Then silence returns. No one speaks. No one reacts. It is simply part of the night, part of life. The air inside the room is thick, not in a heavy way, but in a lived-in way. It carries warmth, breath, and time. There is little movement of fresh air, only what slips through the small gaps in the walls. And so the body rests in an environment that never fully refreshes, never fully renews. You take a slow breath. It feels steady, but not entirely light, as if something remains just beneath the surface. This was common. The body never fully reset. Sleep did not wash away the day. It only softened it, slightly. You turn your head gently. The blanket shifts near your face.
Its texture is familiar now, rough, but grounding. Everything here is grounding in its own way. The bed, the air, the presence of others nearby. It keeps you connected to the moment, but it also keeps you from drifting too far, from reaching a deep, untouched rest. Your body settles again. The small aches remain, but they quiet. Not gone, just softened. And in that softening, you begin to drift once more. The mind moves slowly now. Thoughts no longer form clearly. They pass, like faint shadows, unfinished, unimportant. And in that quiet mental space, the body continues its slow effort to rest. Outside, the night holds steady. No new sounds, no sudden changes, only the same quiet presence that has been there all along. Time continues to pass, unnoticed. You do not measure it, you only feel it, in the slow rhythm of breath, in the gentle rise and fall of awareness. And somewhere in that passing time, you slip slightly deeper, not fully asleep, but closer. Closer to a place where the body can pause, even for a short while. Because in this world, rest is not something perfect. It is something partial, something that comes in layers, something that the body must accept even when it is not enough. The small cough does not return. The movements beside you have quieted again. The discomfort of the bed has faded into the background, and for a moment, everything feels almost still, almost calm, almost restful. But beneath that calm, the tiredness remains, waiting, carried from one night to the next, never fully released. And as you drift gently in that quiet space, the night continues, unchanged, patient, holding everything just as it is.
The night has reached its deepest point. It is the hour when everything feels the most still, and yet the most aware. You remain resting where you are. Your body is quiet. Your breathing is slow and steady. The small discomforts have softened. The sounds have faded into the distance. And for a moment, it feels like you are close to real rest. But there is something else that moves through the night. Something that does not belong to the body. Something quieter. Something that rises gently when everything else becomes still. It is the mind. In the medieval world, the night was not only a time of darkness, it was a time of thought. Soft, slow, unspoken thought. During the day, there was always movement. Work filled the hours. Hands were busy. Voices were heard. There was little space for stillness. But at night, when the body lay down and the world grew quiet, the mind began to wander. You feel that now. A small thought appears. It is not clear, not sharp, just a feeling, more than a word. It drifts slowly, then fades. Another takes its place, then another. There is no urgency to them. They come and go, like the soft movement of air. In this time, many thoughts were shaped by belief, not loud belief, not something spoken all the time, but something that lived quietly, deep within. People believed the night was closer to the unseen, closer to things beyond the physical world, not always in fear, but with a kind of gentle caution, a quiet respect. You feel a small shift inside you. Not discomfort, not exactly worry, just a slight awareness, as if the darkness holds more than what can be touched. The room around you is still. The others sleep or drift as you do. No one speaks, and yet the silence feels full of presence, full of something that cannot be named easily. In medieval homes, people often prayed before sleep, softly, quietly, not as a routine, but as a way to settle the mind, to bring a sense of protection into the night. Even now, that feeling lingers, a quiet reaching for comfort, not through objects, but through thought. You take a slow breath. It steadies you. Your body remains relaxed, but your mind continues its gentle movement. A memory surfaces, not clearly, just a shape of something from the day, a task, a face, a moment. Then it fades again. The mind does not hold on to it. It simply lets it pass. Outside, the darkness remains unchanged, but within it, there is always a sense that something could be there, watching, moving, existing just beyond sight. This was a common feeling in the medieval night. Not always fear, but awareness, a sense that the world did not fully sleep, that something always remained awake. A faint sound comes from far away, so distant it is almost not there. Perhaps the wind shifting again, or something moving across the fields. You listen, just for a moment. Then your attention softens again. The sound fades into the background. Your thoughts slow once more. They no longer come as often. They no longer carry any weight. Just soft impressions passing through. The body grows heavier, more relaxed. Even the small tension that remained begins to release. Your shoulders soften. Your hands rest more fully. Your breathing becomes deeper. In this quiet state, the line between thought and dream begins to blur. You are not fully asleep, but you are no longer fully awake. Images begin to form, faint and gentle, not clear enough to follow, just enough to feel. This is how sleep often came in this world, not all at once, but slowly through layers of quiet awareness. And yet, even here, the mind does not completely let go, because the night still holds its presence, that deep surrounding darkness, that quiet sense of the unseen. It never fully disappears. It simply softens as you drift deeper. Another breath. Slow in, slow out. Everything feels distant now. The room, the sounds, even your own thoughts. They move farther away, little by little. And in that distance, you begin to rest more fully. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough. Enough for the body to pause, enough for the mind to quiet. And as you drift gently in that space, the night continues around you, unchanged, endless, holding both stillness and unseen presence at the same time.
The night continues to hold its quiet shape. You remain resting, somewhere between sleep and stillness. Your breathing is slow now. Your body has softened as much as it can. And yet, the night is not the same everywhere. Beyond this small wooden home, beyond the quiet fields and open land, there are other places. Places where the night feels different. Not quieter, not darker, but more crowded. You can imagine it gently, without leaving your place of rest. A town or a city. Stone walls instead of wood. Narrow streets instead of open fields. Buildings standing close together, almost touching. In these places, the night does not spread out. It gathers. It lingers between walls. It settles into small spaces where sound does not easily fade. Even now, as you lie still, you can almost feel that difference. In a village, the night is wide. Sounds travel far, then disappear. But in a city, sounds stay close. They echo. They return. They overlap in quiet, uneven ways. A distant footstep might carry through a narrow street. A soft voice might drift from one window to another. Not loud, but present. Always present. In medieval cities, people did not sleep in deep silence. There was always something. A door closing. A cart moving slowly over stone. The faint call of someone passing through the night. You can almost hear it now. Soft, distant. A wooden wheel turning against rough ground. It moves slowly, then fades. The rhythm lingers for a moment, then disappears. Your body remains still, but your mind touches that sound, then lets it go. In crowded places, sleep was shared even more closely. Rooms were smaller, beds were fewer. Sometimes many people rested in the same space. The air felt heavier, warmer, but not always comfortable. Breath mixed together. Movement spread easily from one person to another. If someone turned, others would feel it. If someone woke, the quiet would shift. And so, even in rest, there was always a connection, a shared awareness of others. You feel that here, even now, the presence beside you, the slow breathing, the slight movement. It is never fully still. And in cities, that feeling was even stronger, more constant, more difficult to escape. Outside, the narrow streets held their own quiet life. Animals sometimes wandered through. Dogs moved in soft steps. Occasionally, a horse shifted its weight nearby. A soft exhale, a gentle scrape of hoof against stone. These sounds were not loud, but they carried. They filled the spaces between buildings. They reached into rooms through small openings in thin walls. You shift slightly beneath your blanket. The straw beneath you answers again with a soft whisper. Your body settles, but not completely. Because even here, in this quieter place, the idea of those crowded nights lingers, a reminder that rest was never fully separate from the world outside. In some homes, people lived above their work, a shop below, a place to sleep above. And even at night, that connection remained. Tools rested nearby. Goods were stored within reach. The scent of daily work stayed in the air. Wood, metal, cloth, whatever filled the day, followed into the night. And so the mind never fully left it behind. Even in sleep, the world of work remained close. You take a slow breath. The air here is cooler than in a crowded city, lighter, but still not completely fresh. Nothing in this world is fully renewed overnight, only softened, only paused. Another faint sound passes through your awareness, this time a distant voice, so soft it is almost part of the wind. You cannot make out words, only tone, only presence. It rises gently, then fades. In medieval cities, voices often carried through the night. Not loud conversations, but quiet moments, a call from one person to another, a soft exchange drifting through narrow streets. Even in rest, people were never entirely alone, and that constant presence made deep sleep difficult. Your body shifts again, just slightly. The blanket moves with you. The air touches your face, cool and steady. Your breathing remains slow. Your thoughts have become light again, less defined, more distant. The sounds, whether from village or city, blend together now. They lose their edges. They become part of a soft, continuous background. And in that blending, your mind begins to let go once more. The differences between places fade. Only the feeling remains. A world where the night is never fully silent, never fully still. A world where sleep must exist within that quiet movement, not separate from it, but inside it. You rest there, gently drifting. The presence of others, near or far, no longer pulls your attention. The sounds no longer hold meaning. They simply exist, and you exist with them. Calm, still, carried slowly through the night. And as you drift a little deeper, the crowded streets, the narrow spaces, the distant voices, all of it fades into the same soft darkness, becoming one with the long, unbroken night.
The night carries on. Outside, the air is calm. A faint breeze brushes past, almost unnoticed. Inside, the room is quiet, save for the slow, steady rhythm of your breathing. And yet, the season makes a difference. You feel it now. The coolness of winter creeping into the room, settling along the walls and the floor. A draft slips in from a small crack near the door. It is sharp at first, then softer as your body adjusts. The blanket is pulled closer. The wool scratches lightly against your skin. It is familiar, comforting in its own rough way. Medieval nights were long, especially in winter. The sun set early, and darkness stretched across the land for many hours. The nights could feel endless. You lie there, aware of the cold pressing gently against your skin. Even the presence of others beside you cannot fully banish it. Warmth spreads slowly, from body to body, from blanket to blanket, but the chill lingers, always at the edges. The body shivers once, lightly, then settles again. In this long, cold darkness, people were never fully at ease. Their minds remained aware even as sleep tried to arrive. Your own thoughts drift softly. Memories of the day, tasks unfinished, a faint unease, perhaps about the morrow. All of it blends with the cold. The air itself feels heavier in the chest. Breath becomes visible than small, quiet clouds, a reminder of the chill. Outside, the world is still. The trees are bare, branches creak in the faint wind. A distant animal moves through the fields, its steps soft, careful. Even this gentle sound carries weight in the stillness. Inside, the room shifts slightly. Someone turns. The straw mattress rustles. A small cough rises, then fades. The night does not hurry. It does not demand attention. It simply continues, long and patient. The body tries to adjust to the cold, to the uneven warmth, to the discomfort of the straw beneath. Sleep comes slowly, in small fragments, not deep, not perfect, just enough to soften the mind, to pause the body, to let the darkness carry you gently forward. Even in summer, nights were never entirely restful. The heat pressed against the skin. Air felt thick. Mosquitoes and insects moved freely, their quiet buzzing sometimes closer than the ear could bear. The seasons shaped the experience. Winter brought cold and length. Summer brought warmth and small irritations. Always something to keep the body lightly alert. You shift slightly under the blanket. The wool scratches again, but your body is heavier now. Your muscles relax a little deeper. Your mind softens. The long night stretches on, and yet it feels almost protective, a gentle enclosure, a world held in darkness. Outside, snow or frost might cover the ground, or fields might be damp from evening rains. The air smells faintly of earth. A hint of smoke from a distant fire drifts in. The room carries its own scent: wood, straw, blankets, and the presence of life. All these small details are part of the night.
They remind the body of the world without overwhelming it. The mind drifts further. Images fade and merge. The cold is distant now, almost imperceptible. The straw beneath is uneven, but forgotten. The body is softening. The breaths beside you are slow, almost synchronized. The long hours of darkness continue, and slowly the layers of discomfort, awareness, and faint fear begin to dissolve. Sleep moves in small pieces, gradually, gently. Not perfect, but enough. Enough for the body to pause, enough for the mind to rest. And in the soft distance, the night carries on, steady and unhurried.
The night stretches on. You remain lying quietly, somewhere between sleep and gentle awareness. The body is softer now. The mind drifts slowly, following nothing in particular. And yet, even in this calm, there is always a faint pull of tomorrow. Daily life in medieval Europe demanded attention long before the sun rose. People did not sleep in complete freedom. They rested lightly, with awareness of the coming day. The chores, the animals, the tasks waiting in the fields, the workshops, the kitchens. Even the smallest responsibilities were enough to touch the mind in these long nights. You feel a small tightening, not tension, not worry, but a soft anticipation. The mind remembers what will need to be done. In a small home, the rooster would not be far. Its crowing would pierce the early morning air. And so, even hours before dawn, the body held itself ready. The feet shifted lightly beneath the straw. The blanket brushed softly along the arms. The body sought comfort, but never fully surrendered. Outside, the night remains unchanged. The wind moves slowly across the fields or through narrow streets. It carries with it the faint smell of earth, of animals, of smoke from distant fires. Every sound is gentle, yet present. A horse steps softly along a road. A dog shifts nearby. A branch creaks against a wall. All these small disturbances are part of the night's rhythm. The mind notices them in passing, then lets them go. Even so, the awareness lingers. The mind remembers what the day will demand. The chores, the tending of animals, the grinding of grain, the carrying of water, the tending of fires. Even small tasks occupied the imagination at night. It was a quiet, persistent presence. And so the body does not fully rest. Sleep comes in fragments, in gentle waves, not long or deep, but enough to carry the mind and body through the night. You feel your own body adjusting again. The straw shifts beneath you. The blanket moves slightly. A small cough rises somewhere nearby. All of it blends with the gentle rhythm of breath, both yours and others. Even in the long night, the body remains semi-aware, semi-alert. Not tense, not anxious, just prepared. Because in this time, night was never completely separate from the day. The chores, the animals, the labor of life all waited for the morning. And so, even in sleep, the body held the knowledge of them softly, lightly. Outside, the darkness remains. The air carries the faintest sounds of movement. A branch shifts, a faint rustle of animal steps, a soft exhale from someone in the house. All of it blends into a quiet, steady pattern. And in this pattern, sleep comes and goes. Small moments of rest, small pockets of stillness. The body softens further. The mind drifts further. The anticipation of morning fades into the background, not completely gone, but softened, like the distant echo of wind through trees. The long hours of the night stretch on, endless, patient, unhurried. And within this soft, steady darkness, the body and mind continue their slow, quiet rhythm. Breathing in, breathing out, matching the gentle cadence of the world around. Sleep is not perfect here. It never was, but it is enough. Enough for the body to rest, enough for the mind to soften, enough to carry through another long day. And as you drift gently once more, the night continues to hold everything. The sounds, the movements, the faint stirrings of both body and mind, all of it woven into the slow, endless rhythm of medieval nights. The night continues, though its deepest hours are passing. The darkness has softened into a quiet anticipation. Not yet light, not yet morning, but moving ever so slowly toward it. You lie still, breathing softly. The body rests, but not fully, because even as the night eases, the mind begins to notice small changes. The air grows lighter, not bright, not warm, just less dense. The faintest hint of approaching day moves through the room. Outside, a subtle shift begins. The wind carries a lighter tone. The distant animals, once more alert, make small sounds. A bird stirs in the trees. A faint rustle, a soft movement in the fields. Even the world itself begins to stretch. The body reacts to this subtle change. Muscles loosen further. A small sigh escapes. The blanket shifts with gentle weight. The straw beneath you settles softly, almost as if it knows the night is moving toward its end. Inside the home, others remain in various states of rest, some still asleep, some beginning to stir lightly. Feet touch the floor quietly. A hand moves, brushing hair from the face. A soft exhale marks the transition from sleep to consciousness. The faintest sounds of preparation begin, perhaps someone tending the fire, a kettle stirred quietly, a door opening slowly, letting in cooler morning air. The body responds, not abruptly, not fully awake, but aware enough to shift slightly. The mind, too, stirs softly. Tasks and responsibilities of the coming day move closer. Nothing urgent, nothing sharp, just gentle reminders, soft signals that the night is ending. Outside, the first weak light begins to brush the horizon. It is pale, almost imperceptible, the color of fog or the light reflected off frost. A soft illumination that touches the tops of distant trees, the edges of rooftops. It spreads slowly, patiently. You feel it in your eyes, behind closed lids. A hint of warmth, a gentle awareness. The long, patient night is almost over, and yet the body does not fully wake. It remains in a soft in-between, a place between rest and action. The mind drifts, following the small, quiet sounds of the household. A chair shifts. A wooden spoon scratches lightly against a pot. The soft exhale of another sleeper. All of it blends into a gentle morning rhythm. And still, sleep lingers in fragments, moments of deep calm, moments of light awareness, folded together in slow, patient waves. The night has been long. The darkness has been full, but now, with the first pale light, it begins to fade. Not suddenly, not sharply, but in a gentle, careful way, like a blanket slowly drawn away. You feel the shift within yourself. Limbs relax further. The chest rises and falls with steady ease. The mind softens, ready for the day to come, but holding on to the calm of the night for just a little longer. Outside, the world stretches. Birds call softly. Wind stirs. The faint echo of footsteps along streets or paths blends with the pale light. Everything is gradual, slow, patient, and you remain in the midst of it, not fully awake, not fully asleep, but resting,
gently, carried through the long medieval night toward the quiet, careful arrival of morning.
The first hints of morning now linger in the air, soft, gentle, unhurried. The darkness of night has begun to release its hold. You lie still, breathing quietly in the calm in between. Outside, a bird calls softly, almost uncertainly. Its voice drifts across the fields or down the narrow streets of a village, touching windows and rooftops. A faint sound, gentle, soothing. The world begins to stir slowly, carefully. Inside the home, small movements mark the day's approach. Someone shifts under a blanket. A foot presses lightly on the floor. A hand moves to smooth hair or to stretch gently after hours of stillness. The straw beneath you whispers softly with every small adjustment. The blanket moves along with you. A faint scent of the day before lingers in the air. Smoke from last night's fire, the warmth of bread cooling in a kitchen, the faint earthy aroma of straw and wood. These small details are part of the rhythm of waking. Even in the medieval world, morning did not rush. It crept slowly, unfolding in layers. The mind remains semi-aware, drifting between dreams and the approaching day. Outside, the wind carries a faint chill, not sharp, just enough to make you notice the movement of air. The first chores of the day are already beginning somewhere near you, a person tending animals softly, guiding them with quiet, patient hands, a goat or cow stirring in the pen, its soft rustle against straw blending with distant sounds of the morning. Someone draws water quietly from a well, the faint clink of bucket against wood marking the slow rhythm of work. The sounds are gentle, but they remind the mind that the night is fading. Your body begins to respond, a stretch, a sigh. The muscles that held still through long hours of uneven rest loosen gradually. The hands move, the feet shift, the chest rises and falls with steadier ease. The world of night, so patient, so still, begins to recede. And yet, even as the first weak light touches your surroundings, the calm lingers. It does not vanish abruptly. It softens. It stays with you in fragments, in gentle layers, like a faint memory of the night. The faint murmur of people waking in nearby rooms moves softly through the space. No voices yet, only movement, small steps, the shifting of beds and blankets, the quiet preparation for a day that will demand effort once again. You lie there for a moment longer, feeling the slow transition. The chill of the night, softened by warmth from bodies and blankets, mixes with the gentle light of dawn. Everything is slow. Every sound is measured. The day arrives gradually, without urgency, without rush. Even in this medieval morning, life begins carefully. Animals stir. Chores are prepared. The first bread may be put in the oven, water drawn and carried, tools arranged for work. And you remain in that gentle pause between night and day, not fully awake, not fully asleep, carried gently in the soft embrace of the night's memory while the new day begins to stretch its pale, quiet light across the world. The body, softened by rest, allows the mind to drift lightly, holding on to the calm even as awareness grows. This is how mornings began in medieval Europe, slowly, patiently, softly, with the lingering comfort of a night that was never perfectly deep, but never entirely absent. You breathe in the faint morning air, exhale slowly, and the world holds you gently as it shifts from night to day. The pale light of dawn continues to filter gently into the room. It is soft, almost fragile. The chill of night has eased slightly, replaced by the faint warmth of early sun or morning air. Your body rests still, lying beneath the rough but familiar blanket. The straw mattress has shifted again with the movements of sleepers around you, settling quietly beneath your weight. The house slowly comes to life, not loudly, not with hurry, but softly,
in small, measured motions. A pot is set near the hearth. Wood shifts lightly under someone's hand. The faint scent of smoke rises and mingles with the cool morning air. A small fire begins to crackle gently, its warmth moving slowly through the room. Outside, birds move and call softly in the trees. A goat stirs in its pen. A cow shifts its weight on the straw, lowing faintly. Every small sound blends into the soft rhythm of morning. You remain half awake, half still, carried by the gentle unfolding of the day. Breakfast begins quietly in some homes. Grain may be soaked for porridge. A small fire warms water in a kettle. Bread, if it was baked the night before, is broken into pieces and set beside bowls of milk. No clamor, no hurry. Everything is slow. The movement of hands is careful, every action measured. And you lie in this calm, noticing the small hints of life around you without fully responding. Your body stirs lightly, muscles lengthen, limbs stretch, the spine curves and relaxes beneath the weight of the straw mattress. You exhale slowly, allowing the day to arrive gradually. Even as the household moves, the animals stir, and the first chores begin, your mind drifts lightly in the remaining quiet spaces. Small thoughts of tasks ahead pass by, not urgent, not sharp, just hints of the day's rhythm, faint patterns of work and responsibility. The awareness of life's demands is there, but softened by the calm of dawn. The first labor of the day begins. Someone tends the hearth. The hearth warms. Water bubbles gently in a pot. Bread is broken. Animals are fed. Tools and materials are gathered carefully for work to come. All of it moves at a measured, unhurried pace. Even as activity begins, the world holds on to the soft remnants of night. You remain lying still for a little while longer. The mind floats in fragments of dream. The body continues to soften and adjust. The calm of the night lingers, though shadows of the day grow longer in the room. The first rays of sunlight brush over the walls. The straw beneath you whispers as you adjust slightly. The blanket shifts, brushing your skin gently. You are not fully awake, not yet fully engaged with the day, just resting in the slow, patient rhythm that medieval mornings often brought. Even as chores begin, the mind drifts lightly in the quiet awareness of routine. The animals stir further. A rooster might call softly in the distance. The fire crackles. The house hums with the faint rhythm of life preparing itself for work. And you remain carried gently in this space, a quiet observer of the slow unfolding morning. Your breathing matches the gentle motions of the day. Slow in, slow out. The calm of the night is still present, softly interwoven with the awakening world. And in this soft transition, the body and mind remain gently balanced between rest and action. Even as life continues, the lingering comfort of the night holds quietly, steady, patient, unhurried.
The morning moves gently forward. Sounds of life grow slowly louder, though never rushed or sharp. You remain half awake, half drifting, carried by the calm rhythm of early day. Outside, animals stir more fully. Chickens move in small, soft clucks. Cows shift their weight in pens, lowing faintly. Goats stretch and nibble at straw or whatever feed they find. The wind touches the rooftops. Leaves rustle softly in distant trees. Inside, the household moves in gentle motion. Breakfast is simple: bread broken or soaked in milk,
A pot of porridge warmed over the fire, water drawn from the well. A small fire crackles, sending smoke upward through a chimney or hole in the roof. The world is slowly coming to life, yet still carries the remnants of night. Your body shifts lightly beneath the blanket. Limbs stretch softly. Shoulders release small tension. The chest rises and falls steadily, keeping time with breath and the quiet stirrings around you. Even as work begins, the mind does not fully engage. It drifts lightly through faint remnants of dreams. Flickers of night linger, folding softly into the awareness of day. Chores are gentle, careful, repetitive. Drawing water, tending animals, sorting grain, repairing tools or fences. Everything moves in measured steps. No rush, no sudden motion. Even work carries the soft rhythm of awareness learned over many years. Your body, still not fully awake, absorbs these patterns quietly. Muscles remember the motions of daily life. Limbs flex, hands adjust, feet shift, and you lie there, part of this slow unfolding. Time passes in gentle increments, not numbered, not measured, only felt. The air is soft, carrying the warmth of the day's first light, the faint smoke of fires, and the earthiness of straw and animals. In the mid-morning, small tasks begin more fully. Someone may grind grain, the wheel turning slowly. Another may tend a small fire for baking bread. Animals are fed, water carried, tools arranged. Everything is methodical. And through it all, sleep from the night lingers like a quiet cloak, not complete, not deep, but enough to keep the body balanced, enough to allow the mind to move gently through repetition and routine. The rhythm of life in medieval Europe followed the light, the seasons, the demands of labor. Sleep came in fragments, rest was brief, and yet it was enough. Enough to carry through the hours of work, enough to soften the body, enough to quiet the mind, even if only partially. As the morning stretches forward, your own body adjusts. The blanket shifts again. Straw beneath moves softly. Limbs stretch. The chest rises and falls with a steady ease. Your mind drifts lightly, following the small rhythms of the house and the surrounding world. Even as life awakens fully, the calm of the night remains woven through your awareness. Soft, gentle, patient. The chores will continue. Meals will come and go. Animals will be tended, fires stoked, tools repaired. And at the end of this day, as shadows lengthen again, night will return. The world will quiet. The air will cool. The body will settle once more, carrying the traces of labor, of warmth, of small fatigue. And sleep, imperfect, uneven, partial, will come again, slowly, patiently, gently, as it always did in medieval Europe.
The morning has passed slowly, carrying the soft light with it. You remain in that gentle in-between, a quiet observer of life's unfolding rhythm. The chores continue around you, almost like a soft hum in the background of the day. Animals move gently in pens or fields. Chickens scratch at the earth, searching for seeds. Cows shift their weight, lowing faintly as they nibble at hay. The wind moves lightly through trees and across rooftops. Branches sway softly. Leaves rustle. A faint sound of running water, perhaps from a nearby stream or from water carried from the well, drifts through the air. Inside, the household continues its measured motions. Bread may be broken into small portions. Porridge cooled and eaten slowly. A small fire maintained carefully for warmth and cooking. Tools are prepared for work. Cloth is measured. Wood is handled softly, deliberately. Everything follows a rhythm. and even as activity grows, the calm of the night lingers, woven into the soft awareness of the day. Your body shifts again under the blanket. Limbs stretch lightly. The chest rises and falls steadily. Muscles lengthen and relax in gentle waves. Small sounds, footsteps, shifting straw, distant voices blend into the gentle fabric of the day. The mind drifts lightly, following the faint echoes of yesterday's dreams, or perhaps the mind moves toward anticipation of tasks still to come. Not urgent, not stressful, just soft, quiet recognition of life's rhythm. The afternoon comes slowly. The sun moves across the sky, casting light through windows, over rooftops, into small yards or narrow streets. Shadows stretch gently. The air begins to carry the warmth of the day's highest point. Animals shift more fully now, moving with purpose. People handle tools carefully, tend fields or workshops. The sound of wood scraping wood, metal against stone, cloth brushing, water splashing, fills the spaces with a gentle, steady hum. Even meals follow a slow rhythm. Bread, cheese, pottage, small fruits or roots, consumed carefully, without rush. Every movement measured, every sound deliberate but soft. You remain lying quietly, absorbing the quiet structure of the world. The long day flows around you. Even as work continues, there is a gentle repetition, a rhythm, a cadence of life, familiar and steady. The body feels the warmth of the day now, the small fatigue that grows from movement and attention. Muscles lengthen and release in gentle waves. The mind drifts between rest and awareness. Soft thoughts, fragments of images, gentle recollections, all carried slowly by the calm movement of time. As the sun moves lower, shadows lengthen once again. The day begins to settle toward evening. Animals quiet, children pause from play. The fire is prepared for the next meal. Work slows, gradually, intentionally. The rhythm of life eases just slightly. And in this easing, the mind and body prepare slowly, without notice, for the coming night, for the return of darkness, for the rest that may come, uneven, imperfect, but enough to soften and renew. You breathe slowly, in and out. The warmth of the day fades slightly. The faint scent of smoke, of food, of straw, of earth drifts gently into the room. Everything moves at a patient, steady pace, and you remain soft and still, carried gently in the rhythm of life. The long day is fading, and the night will return.
The sun dips slowly, softly, toward the horizon. Its light becomes gentler, more diffuse, stretching shadows across fields, streets, and rooftops. The warmth of day slowly fades into a cooler, calmer evening. You lie still, carried in the quiet pause between activity and nightfall. Inside, the household begins to shift. The animals are tended once more. Goats and cows guided to their evening feed. Chickens called gently into their coops. The soft cluck of birds, the rustle of straw, the faint creak of doors, all blend into a gentle evening rhythm. Fires are stoked carefully, their warmth spreading slowly through kitchens and homes. Smoke rises in thin, soft streams. The faint scent of wood, of earth, of warmth drifts quietly. Meals are simple and deliberate. Bread, cheese, perhaps some small roots or vegetables. Porridge warmed again. Water drawn carefully from the well. Every movement is slow, measured, intentional. Even as work concludes, the rhythm of life continues. The mind drifts lightly. Fragments of the day pass slowly,
tending animals, preparing food, moving through tasks. The body softens under its weight, adjusting to the evening calm. Breath rises and falls steadily. Muscles release the tension of the day. Hands rest gently, limbs relax. The fading light touches the walls and floors. Soft shadows stretch across the room. The house seems to breathe gently in unison with its inhabitants. Outside, the air carries the faintest hint of approaching night. The wind moves lightly through trees, stirring leaves softly. Branches creak faintly. The distant fields hold the calm of approaching darkness. Even in towns, narrow streets begin to quiet. The echoes of carts, of voices, of footsteps fade slowly into distance. The evening moves at its own slow, patient pace. Small chores remain: tending fire, preparing simple meals, checking animals, smoothing straw in beds. Everything done deliberately, quietly. And yet, as the night approaches, the mind carries faint awareness of what is to come. Sleep. Uneven, partial, fragmented. The body, soft from day's work, adjusts to rest again. The blankets settle. Straw beneath whispers softly as you move. The hearth glows gently. Its warmth spreads slowly across the room, touching skin and walls alike. Outside, the sun disappears fully behind the horizon. The faint light of evening fades. Darkness spreads gently across the land. The wind moves lightly. Branches and leaves whisper softly. Animals settle into pens. Chickens roost quietly. Cows lie down, lowing faintly. Goats curl together. And in the house, the last small tasks are completed. Pots are cleaned, food put away, blankets and straw adjusted for rest. The world is quiet now, but not silent. Soft sounds linger: a small sigh, the rustle of straw, the faint crackle of the fire, distant animal movement. You lie still, breathing slowly. The body carries the subtle fatigue of the day. The mind drifts lightly. Fragments of thought float in and out. Memories of the day, fragments of dreams, anticipation of tasks tomorrow, all softened by the calm of evening. The long night approaches once more, and soon the world will settle into rest. Not perfect, not deep, but enough to carry the body and mind through the quiet darkness. Even as you drift, carried by this gentle rhythm, awareness of life's cycle remains softly present. The body softens completely. The breath rises and falls steadily. The night arrives slowly, patiently, wrapping the world in its calm embrace.
Night arrives fully now. The pale glow of evening has faded completely, leaving the world wrapped in quiet darkness. You lie beneath blankets of wool, straw beneath you soft but uneven, your body heavy with gentle fatigue. The air is cooler. Drafts creep softly along walls and floors, brushing against skin in gentle, uneven currents. Outside, the wind moves through trees and over fields. Branches creak softly. Leaves whisper faintly. Animals breathe slowly in pens. Cows lie down, shifting weight now and then, lowing quietly. Goats curl together, soft murmurs floating from them. Chickens have gone to roost, settling with faint clucks into their straw-filled coops. The quiet is not complete. It never is. Small sounds remain in every room, every building, every corner of life. A person shifts under blankets. A hand brushes against straw. The faint crackle of embers rises from a dying fire. The smell of smoke mixes with warmth, straw, and the lingering scent of day-old food. You breathe slowly, matching the rhythm of the world around you. The body relaxes further, but not completely. Muscles hold fragments of tension from the day. The mind drifts between dreams and gentle awareness.
Outside, the darkness is deep, yet within it, life continues softly. The wind may carry distant sounds, an animal moving in a field, the soft hoot of an owl, the faint scrape of branches. No sound is sudden, no movement is sharp. Everything unfolds slowly, patiently, like the gentle turning of a wheel. The body shifts slightly under the weight of blankets. The chest rises and falls steadily. Hands rest softly, fingers slightly curved. Legs stretch in small adjustments. Even with movement, the calm holds. Sleep arrives in small waves, not complete, not deep, but enough to carry the body through these long hours of darkness. The mind drifts lightly. Fragments of the day, of past dreams, of tasks tomorrow, all float in gentle patterns. You are aware of the night's length. The hours stretch ahead slowly, yet the world carries a soft rhythm, steady and patient. Outside, the wind whispers. A distant animal shifts. Branches creak. The faint exhale of a person in another room rises and falls in the darkness. Even in these sounds there is calm. You breathe slowly. The body softens further. The mind floats lightly, following no path, noticing nothing urgently, carried by the gentle rhythm of the medieval night. Time is slow, measured in breath, measured in small movements, measured in the faint sounds of life continuing quietly in the darkness. The first hours of night stretch on. Sleep comes in fragments, in gentle pauses. The body rests lightly. The mind rests lightly. Neither fully free, neither fully alert, but both softened, carried in the slow, patient rhythm of life as it existed long ago.
The middle of the night has arrived. Darkness surrounds everything, deep and steady. The air is cooler now, carrying faint drafts that brush lightly across the walls and floor. The straw beneath you shifts softly as your body adjusts. Blankets move gently with the subtle sway of limbs. The hearth fire has died down to soft embers, glowing faintly, warm but uneven. Outside, the night continues slowly, carrying with it sounds both soft and distant. An owl calls once, low and steady, echoing across fields or through the gaps of village streets. A fox may move silently across open land, careful, deliberate. Branches creak in gentle rhythm as the wind moves through trees. Even the earth seems to breathe in quiet pulses, settling beneath frost or the faint humidity of the night. Inside, other sleepers shift lightly. A hand brushes across a blanket. A foot presses softly into straw. A faint cough rises and fades. The quiet is full, yet not complete. Small sounds carry more weight in this darkness. The mind registers them softly, unconsciously. And so, even as sleep comes in small waves, awareness lingers. The body remains semi-alert, not tense, not fearful, just cautious in its rest. Medieval nights were long, longer than modern life often allows. The hours stretched slowly, carrying both stillness and faint disturbance. The mind drifts lightly, aware of potential threats or tasks yet to come. Not urgent, not sharp, just present enough to keep the sleeper from sinking fully into rest. The small rustle of straw beneath a foot, the faint creak of a door settling, the whisper of wind against wood, all reminders that the world is alive, even in darkness. Sleep comes and goes, moments of stillness, moments of movement, fragments of dreams float gently in and out. The body softens further, allowing warmth from blankets and embers to seep in slowly. The
The chest rises and falls steadily. Limbs adjust lightly, seeking comfort. Even in the long hours of the night, there is rhythm, a rhythm learned over a lifetime of uneven sleep. The mind drifts between memory and imagination, between alertness and rest. Small fears, small uncertainties, gentle and faint, hover in the background. A distant howl, a sudden rustle, shadows that move slightly in the corners of perception. Yet none of it is urgent, none of it is sharp, just reminders that the night is long and life is careful. Sleep returns in gentle waves, not deep, not perfect, but enough to carry the body through these hours. The mind softens, thoughts fade, then return briefly, then fade again. The body rests lightly, warmed by blankets and embers, soothed by rhythm and breath. The long medieval night continues, patient, steady, unhurried, and you remain carried gently through it, between moments of rest and light awareness, between warmth and chill, between quiet and faint sound, all of it blending into the slow, soft rhythm of life in darkness. The night stretches onward, dark and patient. Hours pass slowly, measured not by clocks, but by breath, by movement, by faint, shifting sounds. The air carries a chill, soft but insistent. You feel it brush against skin through gaps in blankets or along walls. The straw beneath shifts slightly with the weight of your body. Limbs stretch unconsciously. Hands rest softly, fingers curved. The chest rises and falls in steady, gentle rhythm. Outside, the world is alive in quiet, subtle ways. An owl glides silently across a field. The rustle of small animals moving through underbrush drifts faintly on the wind. Branches creak and sway. A distant dog stirs in a yard or stable. The night holds all these sounds gently, softly, without urgency. Inside, other sleepers remain half aware, moving lightly in beds of straw or under thick wool blankets. A sigh, a shift of weight, a soft exhale, small markers of rest. The fire glows faintly in the hearth, embers warm but subdued. The scent of smoke lingers, mingled with straw, wood, and the faint trace of day-old food. Sleep comes in uneven waves, not long, not deep, but enough. Enough for the body to rest lightly, enough for the mind to drift softly. Even awareness of the night's length fades gradually, carried into fragments of dream. Small fears, small vigilance, soft awareness of the world outside, they linger faintly, but never sharply. A branch scratches a wall, a shadow moves, a faint exhale rises from another sleeper. All of it blends into the rhythm of the long night. You drift lightly between rest and alertness. Breath in, breath out. The body softens, the mind floats. The air remains cool but steady. Outside, the first subtle hint of pre-dawn begins to arrive. Not light yet, not warmth, just a faint, almost imperceptible shift. The darkness begins to lose its depth slowly. Shadows soften. The world holds a quiet patience. Animals stir lightly in pens, sensing the approach of day. Goats shift slightly. Chickens may ruffle quietly in anticipation of light. Cows adjust their weight in straw. Inside, faint movements mark the approaching change. A hand brushes across a blanket. A foot presses softly against straw. A small cough rises and fades. Even in these subtle shifts, sleep remains, fragmented but sufficient. The long night is ending slowly. The body feels it. The mind notices it, though neither fully awakens. Breath continues steady. Limbs soften. The gentle rhythm of life carries you forward toward the final hours of night, toward the calm arrival of pale early light, toward the quiet anticipation of another day. The world waits patiently, steadily, as it always did, and you drift softly, carried gently through the long, uneven night.
The night begins to wane. Darkness softens in a careful, almost imperceptible way. The faintest hints of pale light touch the horizon. It is not bright, not sudden, just a gentle shift in the air and the world itself. You lie still beneath blankets of wool, straw soft beneath you. Your body adjusts slowly. Limbs stretch lightly. The chest rises and falls with steady, quiet rhythm. The mind drifts, aware of the subtle changes outside, but carried gently by the calm of night. Outside, small movements announce the coming day. A distant rooster calls faintly, its voice soft and hesitant. Birds stir in trees, shifting feathers, stretching wings in preparation for flight. Animals in pens adjust slightly, shifting weight or nudging each other. Goats shuffle softly. Cows move gently, lowing quietly. The wind carries faint, cool currents, brushing lightly through branches and over rooftops. Inside, the household begins to stir in the pre-dawn. Not loudly, not with urgency. Small movements mark the approach of morning. A hand brushes across straw. A foot presses lightly to the floor. A faint cough rises and fades. Someone tends the embers in the hearth, shifting coals carefully. The warmth spreads slowly through the room. Small preparations for the day begin quietly. Water is carried, blankets adjusted, food readied. Everything moves gently, deliberately, without rush. Sleep lingers in fragments. You drift between rest and awareness. The body softens under blankets and straw. The mind floats, following the faint, gentle rhythm of the waking world. The faint, pale light stretches slowly across rooftops and walls. Shadows shrink softly. The world seems to exhale quietly, releasing the long hold of night. Your body responds to this subtle change. Muscles lengthen, limbs shift, chest rises and falls steadily. The rhythm of life, slow, patient, gentle, flows all around you. Even in this pre-dawn, sleep remains, scattered in quiet waves. The faint sounds of animals, of wind, of distant movement weave a soft background to rest. You breathe in slowly, exhale gently. The long night is nearly over, and yet the calm persists, carried softly in the body and mind. Life is moving, slowly, toward day, but you remain enveloped in a quiet space, neither fully awake nor fully asleep, just resting, drifting, carried by the gentle rhythm of a world preparing for morning. The air is cool, the embers warm. The faint light diffuses softly across walls and ceilings. The first stirrings of morning are subtle, yet the body, softened by uneven sleep, allows the mind to linger in fragments of rest. This is how medieval nights ended, slowly, patiently, quietly, and the approaching day feels gentle, deliberate, soft, as it always did in the long rhythm of life centuries ago. The first true light of morning begins to touch the world. Not bright, not hurried, but soft and diffused. It brushes over rooftops, spilling slowly across straw-filled floors, warming walls with a pale, gentle glow. The night's chill has softened. The air is faintly warmer, carrying the scent of damp earth, faint smoke, and lingering warmth from the fire. You lie beneath blankets of wool, straw beneath you, still uneven but familiar. The body shifts lightly, limbs stretch, the chest rises and falls steadily. The mind floats in quiet fragments, still carrying the gentle remnants of night. Outside, the world begins its slow movements. Animals stir more fully now. Cows rise, stretching slowly, lowing quietly as they shift weight. Goats move carefully, nibbling at straw or feed. Chickens scratch and flutter softly, rustling in their coops. The wind moves lightly through branches, brushing against rooftops and walls. Birds stretch and begin faint songs, hesitant at first, then growing softly into morning calls. Inside, the household awakens with equal deliberation. Small movements mark the start of early chores. Water drawn carefully from the well. Fire tended, embers coaxed back to warmth. Bread or porridge prepared slowly, deliberately. Tools arranged for the day ahead. The rhythm of life moves steadily, patiently. You remain in quiet observation, half drifting between rest and awareness. The body softens further. Hands rest gently. Legs adjust. Breath flows steady, measured, calm. The house breathes with you, echoing with faint sounds of movement. Shifts of straw, soft footsteps, the whisper of wind. Even the smallest details hold significance. The faint warmth of the fire on skin, the smell of earth, straw, and smoke, the lowing of cattle, distant and soft. All of it combines into a gentle, unhurried prelude to the full day. Sleep remains, but scattered. The body rests lightly, carrying fragments of the night. The mind floats between awareness of chores to come, memories of tasks past, and soft, quiet fragments of dreams. The day stretches out slowly, not rushed, not urgent. Everything moves at the natural, patient pace that has carried life for centuries. Even as work will begin fully, as meals will be prepared, as animals and tools demand attention, the calm of night lingers in your body. Breath steady, limbs softened, chest rising and falling in the slow rhythm of life itself. The faint light continues to fill the room, gently brushing walls and ceilings. Shadows shrink softly, folding into corners and edges. The air holds warmth, faintly scented, soft. The world is awake, yet not loud. The first morning has arrived, and you remain, carried gently between night and day, resting lightly, soft and calm, as the slow, uneven sleep of medieval life transitions into the patient rhythm of the new day. The morning settles fully now. Light moves slowly across floors, walls, and furniture, softening the edges of the room. The chill of night has faded almost entirely. A gentle warmth lingers, rising from the hearth, or from the first touch of sunlight through cracks in walls or thatched roofs. The household begins its measured rhythm. Small chores, soft and deliberate, mark the early hours. Water drawn from the well. Bread and porridge prepared slowly over the fire. Fire stoked gently, coals glowing, smoke rising in thin streams. Animals are tended carefully. Cows fed and milked. Goats guided in their pens. Chickens scattered through the yard, searching for the first offerings of grain. All of it moves at a calm, patient pace. No rush, no sudden movements. Even work is rhythmic, methodical. You remain beneath blankets, soft and warm, observing or drifting lightly through the fragments of rest that linger. Your body responds slowly to the rising day. Limbs stretch. Chest rises and falls steadily. Hands rest softly. The straw beneath moves faintly with your shifting weight. Outside, birds sing in gentle, hesitant calls. The wind moves lightly through branches, stirring leaves. A faint scent of earth and straw rises with the warmth of morning. Even the quiet clamor of human activity is measured. Voices murmur softly in the distance. Feet move carefully across floors. Doors open and close gently. Tools are gathered. Small fires coaxed into warmth for cooking or household work. The world seems to breathe alongside you, steady and patient. Sleep remains in fragments. Not deep, not perfect,
but enough to carry the body and mind forward. Even as the day's labor will demand energy, even as tasks multiply, the calm of the night lingers in your muscles, in your breath, in the slow rhythm of life itself. The world outside grows brighter. Shadows shrink slowly. The faint warmth of the sun spreads through the room. The household continues its gentle preparations. Food readied, animals fed, tools arranged. Everything moves with intention, quietly, deliberately, and you remain carried gently in this soft, patient rhythm. Half awake, half drifting, breath steady, body softened, mind floating through fragments of night and early morning alike. This is how medieval mornings unfolded. Slowly, patiently, softly. The day begins, and you remain, held quietly in the calm balance between night's end and life's gentle awakening.
The morning moves steadily toward late hours. Light fills every corner of the room, pale and gentle, spilling across straw floors, walls, and simple furnishings. The air has warmed slightly, carrying the faint sense of wood smoke, earth, and straw. The household moves quietly but steadily. Water is carried again from the well. Pots are washed, bowls dried. Bread is broken into portions. Porridge or gruel rests softly in bowls, warmed again over the fire. Animals continue their measured routines. Cows chew slowly in their pens. Goats shift, nudging each other gently. Chickens scratch at the earth, soft clucks filling the quiet air. Even the wind moves slowly, brushing through branches, stirring leaves, carrying the faint scent of distant fields. Inside, small tasks mark the rhythm of the day. Tools are cleaned, repaired, or arranged. Fires stoked to maintain warmth. Cloth is tended or woven. Everything moves at a patient, deliberate pace. The mind drifts lightly, soft awareness of activity without urgency. Your body stretches under the blankets, limbs adjust, chest rises and falls in gentle rhythm. Muscles release faint tension from the night and early morning. Sleep lingers in soft waves, scattered and uneven, carrying the mind and body lightly forward. Even as work progresses, there is calm in every motion. The rhythm of daily life continues, measured by breath, by movement, by the soft passage of sunlight across the room. Outside, shadows shift slowly as the sun climbs higher. Birds call more fully now, gentle but deliberate songs marking the passage of time. Animals stir in subtle ways, attentive but calm. Even the faintest sounds, clucking, lowing, the whisper of straw, blend into a gentle symphony of slow activity. The body responds, muscles stretching and softening further. Hands rest lightly, fingers flex and release. Feet press against straw with measured care. The mind floats between fragments of rest and a faint awareness of chores, meals, and small labor. Even in this slow, deliberate movement, the calm of night lingers softly, a quiet echo beneath every action. Time passes gently, measured not by numbers, but by breath, by movement, by the shifting light of the day. And you remain, carried softly by the patient rhythm of life. The day continues, long and unhurried, and sleep, fragmented and uneven, drifts lightly in quiet spaces between labor and awareness. The world moves steadily around you, soft, patient, measured, deliberate, and you rest, drifting through it. The late morning drifts into the first warmth of midday. Sunlight touches rooftops fully now, spilling across walls, floors, and the uneven straw of beds. The air carries warmth, soft but insistent, mingling with faint smoke from hearth fires. Inside the household, small movements continue. Bread is sliced slowly, porridge is stirred gently in wooden bowls, water carried again, poured carefully, measured. Animals move deliberately, attending to the routines of grazing, feeding, and resting. Cows shift their weight, lowing faintly. Goats move softly through pens. Chickens scratch at the earth, soft clucks filling the quiet air. Even the wind seems gentler now, brushing through trees, lifting leaves softly, carrying the faint scent of earth, straw, and distant fields. The household works quietly but steadily. Tools are repaired, wood is split carefully, cloth measured and folded, fires maintained, coals stirred, every action slow, deliberate, steady. You lie beneath blankets, straw beneath you shifting softly with your weight. The body stretches lightly, chest rises and falls steadily, limbs adjust, muscles release faint tension from the night and early morning. Sleep lingers in fragments, uneven but persistent. The mind floats lightly, half in rest, half in awareness of movement around you. Outside, sounds continue with quiet consistency. Birds call in soft, deliberate songs. Wind brushes trees and rooftops. Animals adjust in pens and fields. Every sound blends into the gentle rhythm of life, slow and patient. The sun climbs higher. Shadows shift slowly across walls and floors. Even light carries a calm, warm presence. Meals are prepared with care, eaten slowly. Bread, porridge, small portions of vegetables or roots, water sipped deliberately. The household moves as one, in a quiet cadence, each motion blending into the next. Your body responds to this gentle rhythm. Muscles lengthen, limbs adjust, hands rest softly, fingers flex lightly. The mind drifts between fragments of dreams, memories of early morning, and awareness of the ongoing day. Sleep comes in quiet waves, shallow, uneven, fragmented, yet enough to carry the body, to soften the mind, to steady the breath. The world continues around you, calm and patient. The afternoon approaches slowly, carrying warmth and the faint scent of sun-warmed earth. Time passes gently, measured in breath, in movement, in light. And you remain, carried softly, drifting between sleep and quiet awareness.
The day settles into early afternoon. The sun now rests high in the sky, its light steady and warm. It falls gently across rooftops, fields, and narrow paths, touching everything with a soft glow. Inside the home, the warmth is noticeable but not overwhelming. It lingers in the air, blending with the faint scent of straw, wood, and slow-burning fire. The rhythm of life continues unbroken, steady, and calm. Outside, animals move more slowly now. Cows stand or lie in quiet rest, chewing gently. Goats gather in small clusters, their movements soft and unhurried. Chickens wander in shaded patches, pecking quietly at the ground. The wind has softened. It drifts lightly through trees, barely stirring the leaves. Branches sway just enough to create a faint, whispering sound. Even the birds have grown quieter, their songs less frequent, more spaced, as if resting in the warmth of the day. Inside, the household continues its work. Cloth may be mended carefully, thread passing slowly through fabric. Wood may be shaped or smoothed with steady hands. Tools are handled gently, each motion practiced and familiar. No movement is wasted, no sound is sharp. Everything follows a quiet rhythm. You remain still, lying beneath your blanket, though the warmth now touches your skin more fully. The straw beneath you shifts slightly as your body adjusts. Your limbs stretch softly, your chest rises and falls in a calm, steady pattern. The mind drifts. Thoughts come and go, slow and unformed. Fragments of memory, faint images, soft awareness of the world around you. Nothing stays long,
Nothing demands attention. The body feels the weight of the day, not as strain, but as a gentle heaviness. Muscles relax deeper. Breath slows even more. There is a quiet stillness in the afternoon, a natural pause in the rhythm of work. Not a full stop, but a soft slowing, a moment where effort eases just slightly. Outside, the fields hold the warmth of sunlight. The earth smells faintly dry and warm. Insects may hum softly in the distance, their sound low and continuous, a quiet presence rather than a disturbance. The world does not sleep, but it softens, it slows, it breathes more gently. Inside, small tasks continue. A pot may be shifted, water poured, a tool set down carefully. Footsteps move lightly across the floor. Each sound blends into the calm, never breaking it. You remain in that delicate balance, not asleep, not fully awake. Your body rests, your mind floats, breath steady, slow in, slow out. Even here in the middle of the day, the pattern of rest continues in its own quiet way, because the night did not bring full sleep, because rest came in pieces, because the body learned to gather stillness whenever it could. And so, in the warmth of afternoon, in the quiet rhythm of work and pause, there is a gentle drifting, a soft echo of night carried into the day. Time moves forward, slowly, without urgency. The sun will begin to lower again. Shadows will lengthen, the air will cool, and the long cycle will continue once more. Day easing into evening, evening into night, night bringing once again that uneven, quiet rest. You breathe softly. Your chest rises and falls with calm regularity. Your limbs rest comfortably. The straw beneath you settles. The air cools further, softly brushing your skin. Outside, animals find their places. Inside, the household prepares in silence and small motion. And you drift, gently, in the quiet space between day and night. The afternoon begins to soften. The sun, once high and steady, now starts its slow descent. Its light grows warmer, more golden, stretching gently across the land. Shadows lengthen across fields and narrow paths. They fall softly along walls and through doorways, shifting almost unnoticed. The warmth of the day lingers, but it begins to ease. A faint coolness returns to the air, carried on a light and patient breeze. You remain resting quietly, your body still softened by the slow rhythm of the day. The straw beneath you adjusts with the slightest movement. Your limbs stretch gently, then settle again. Your breath remains steady, slow in, slow out. Outside, animals move with quieter intention now. Cows begin to gather closer, their slow steps measured and calm. Goats drift toward familiar resting places. Chickens wander back toward their coops, their soft clucks blending into the fading light. The sounds of the afternoon grow softer, less frequent, more spaced apart. The wind brushes through trees again, a little more present now. Leaves rustle gently, branches sway with a slow, easy rhythm. Inside, the household continues its steady work, though the pace begins to ease. Tools are set down more often, movements become slower, more deliberate. Cloth is folded, wood is stacked, water is carried one last time before evening. Small preparations begin quietly, not yet for sleep, but for the gradual closing of the day. You feel the shift, even without moving. The body senses the change in light, the cooling air, the soft return of evening. Muscles relax deeper. The warmth of the afternoon fades gently from your skin. The mind drifts again, carried between awareness and rest. Fragments of thought appear, then fade, soft,
shapeless, unimportant, the kind of thoughts that come when there is nothing to hurry towards, nothing to hold tightly. The world itself seems to exhale slowly. After the long stretch of daylight, there is a quiet release, a gentle unwinding. Even the smallest sounds reflect this change. Footsteps become lighter. Voices, if they appear, remain soft and low. The distant hum of insects continues, blending with the whisper of wind. The sky begins its slow transformation. Though you may not see it directly, the light shifts in tone, from bright and pale to warm and golden, to something softer still. Inside the home, shadows stretch longer across the floor. They move slowly, almost like the turning of a page. The fire in the hearth may be stirred again, not for warmth alone, but for the coming evening meal. Its glow returns softly, flickering against the walls. The scent of smoke rises once more, familiar and calming. You remain still, letting the rhythm carry you. The body feels heavier now, not with fatigue alone, but with a quiet readiness for rest. Even though the night has not yet come, the preparation has already begun. The cycle continues, as it always does. Day gently giving way to evening, evening preparing for night, and night bringing once again that uneven, quiet rest. You breathe softly. Your chest rises and falls with calm regularity. Your limbs rest comfortably. The straw beneath you settles. The air cools further, softly brushing your skin. Outside, animals find their places. Inside, the household prepares in silence and small motion, and you drift, gently, in the quiet space between day and night.
The morning moves steadily toward late hours. Light fills every corner of the room, pale and gentle, spilling across straw floors, walls, and simple furnishings. The air has warmed slightly, carrying the faint sense of wood smoke, earth, and straw. The household moves quietly but steadily. Water is carried again from the well. Pots are washed, bowls dried. Bread is broken into portions. Porridge or gruel rests softly in bowls, warmed again over the fire. Animals continue their measured routines. Cows chew slowly in their pens. Goats shift, nudging each other gently. Chickens scratch at the earth, soft clucks filling the quiet air. Even the wind moves slowly, brushing through branches, stirring leaves, carrying the faint scent of distant fields. Inside, small tasks mark the rhythm of the day. Tools are cleaned, repaired, or arranged. Fires stoked to maintain warmth. Cloth is tended or woven. Everything moves at a patient, deliberate pace. The mind drifts lightly, soft awareness of activity without urgency. Your body stretches under the blankets, limbs adjust, chest rises and falls in gentle rhythm. Muscles release faint tension from the night and early morning. Sleep lingers in soft waves, scattered and uneven, carrying the mind and body lightly forward. Even as work progresses, there is calm in every motion. The rhythm of daily life continues, measured by breath, by movement, by the soft passage of sunlight across the room. Outside, shadows shift slowly as the sun climbs higher. Birds call more fully now, gentle but deliberate songs marking the passage of time. Animals stir in subtle ways, attentive but calm. Even the faintest sounds, clucking, lowing, the whisper of straw, blend into a gentle symphony of slow activity. The body responds, muscles stretching and softening further. Hands rest lightly, fingers flex and release. Feet press against straw with measured care. The mind floats between fragments of rest and a faint awareness of chores, meals, and small labor. Even in this slow, deliberate movement, the calm of night lingers softly, a quiet echo beneath every action. Time passes gently.
measured not by numbers, but by breath, by movement, by the shifting light of the day. And you remain, carried softly by the patient rhythm of life. The day continues, long and unhurried, and sleep, fragmented and uneven, drifts lightly in quiet spaces between labor and awareness. The world moves steadily around you, soft, patient, measured, deliberate, and you rest, drifting through it. The late morning drifts into the first warmth of midday. Sunlight touches rooftops fully now, spilling across walls, floors, and the uneven straw of beds. The air carries warmth, soft but insistent, mingling with faint smoke from hearth fires. Inside the household, small movements continue. Bread is sliced slowly, porridge is stirred gently in wooden bowls, water carried again, poured carefully, measured. Animals move deliberately, attending to the routines of grazing, feeding, and resting. Cows shift their weight, lowing faintly. Goats move softly through pens. Chickens scratch at the earth, soft clucks filling the quiet air. Even the wind seems gentler now, brushing through trees, lifting leaves softly, carrying the faint scent of earth, straw, and distant fields. The household works quietly but steadily. Tools are repaired, wood is split carefully, cloth measured and folded, fires maintained, coals stirred, every action slow, deliberate, steady. You lie beneath blankets, straw beneath you shifting softly with your weight. The body stretches lightly, chest rises and falls steadily, limbs adjust, muscles release faint tension from the night and early morning. Sleep lingers in fragments, uneven but persistent. The mind floats lightly, half in rest, half in awareness of movement around you. Outside, sounds continue with quiet consistency. Birds call in soft, deliberate songs. Wind brushes trees and rooftops. Animals adjust in pens and fields. Every sound blends into the gentle rhythm of life, slow and patient. The sun climbs higher. Shadows shift slowly across walls and floors. Even light carries a calm, warm presence. Meals are prepared with care, eaten slowly. Bread, porridge, small portions of vegetables or roots, water sipped deliberately. The household moves as one, in a quiet cadence, each motion blending into the next. Your body responds to this gentle rhythm. Muscles lengthen, limbs adjust, hands rest softly, fingers flex lightly. The mind drifts between fragments of dreams, memories of early morning, and awareness of the ongoing day. Sleep comes in quiet waves, shallow, uneven, fragmented, yet enough to carry the body, to soften the mind, to steady the breath. The world continues around you, calm and patient. The afternoon approaches slowly, carrying warmth and the faint scent of sun-warmed earth. Time passes gently, measured in breath, in movement, in light. And you remain, carried softly, drifting between sleep and quiet awareness.
The night deepens once again. The early stillness has settled into something thicker, quieter, more complete. Darkness fills every corner of the room. The last faint glow from the fire has nearly disappeared, leaving only a soft trace of warmth beneath the ash. You lie still beneath your blanket. The straw beneath you has molded gently to your shape. It shifts only slightly with your breathing. The air feels cooler now. A soft, steady chill moves quietly through the space, brushing along the walls and across the floor. It slips gently against your skin, just enough to be felt. Not sharp, not uncomfortable, only present. Outside, the world continues its quiet life. The wind has grown softer, though it still moves through trees in slow, careful patterns. Leaves whisper faintly, almost like distant voices carried by the air. Branches creak from time to time,
a slow and gentle sound. Far away, an animal may move, a faint rustle, a soft step across the earth. The sound rises, then disappears into the stillness. An owl calls again, low and steady. Its voice stretches through the darkness, then fades completely. Inside, the silence feels deeper. Yet it is never empty. There are always small sounds. The quiet breath of another sleeper, the slight shift of straw beneath a resting body, the faint movement of cloth against skin. These sounds are soft, but they are enough to keep a small part of the mind awake, aware, listening without effort. The body rests. Your muscles have softened completely now. Limbs lie still, heavy and relaxed. Your chest rises and falls in a slow, steady rhythm. Each breath gentle, each movement small. The warmth of the blanket holds close, creating a quiet space of comfort. Beyond it, the cool air remains, brushing lightly against any exposed skin. This balance stays constant. Warmth and coolness, stillness and faint motion, rest and awareness. The mind drifts deeper now. Thoughts no longer form clearly. They pass like shadows, soft and undefined. A memory may appear briefly, then dissolve. A feeling may rise, then fade without shape. Nothing holds long enough to disturb the calm. And yet, even in this deeper drifting, there is still a quiet awareness, the kind that listens without trying, that notices without thinking. A distant sound may reach you, a sudden shift in the wind, a soft creak from wood settling. These things pass through the mind gently, without urgency, but they do not go entirely unnoticed. This is the nature of the medieval night. Sleep is never complete, never fully closed. It is a light and steady drifting, a balance between rest and readiness. The long hours continue to stretch. Time moves slowly, measured only by breath and the quiet changes in the air. The body remains still. The mind floats. The world outside continues its soft, unseen movement. And within this darkness, everything feels distant, softened, slowed. You remain here, carried gently by the quiet rhythm. Breath in, breath out. The night continues, patient and unbroken, and you drift deeper into its calm, even as a small part of you remains quietly aware.
The night moves quietly into its deepest hours. Time passes without clear measure. There are no clocks to mark the moment, no sound to announce the change, only a feeling, a soft shift in the stillness, a deeper quiet settling over everything. You remain resting where you are. Your body has grown fully accustomed to the place beneath you. The straw has flattened slightly, shaped by your weight and warmth. It no longer shifts as much, it simply holds you. The blanket rests lightly over your body, keeping a small pocket of warmth close to your skin. The air beyond it is cooler now. The chill has deepened, though it remains gentle. It moves slowly through the room, touching the edges of wood and stone, slipping into every open space. Inside, the fire has nearly faded. Only a faint heat remains beneath the ash. There is no more flickering light. The room is now wrapped in full darkness, a darkness that feels thick but calm. You breathe slowly, in and out. Your breath is steady and quiet. Your chest rises and falls with soft, even motion. Your limbs feel heavy, almost distant. The body rests deeply now, though not completely surrendered. The mind drifts in a quiet space between sleep and waking. Images appear faintly without shape. Thoughts begin, then dissolve before they fully form. Everything feels slow, soft, unhurried. Outside, the world continues in its own silent rhythm. The wind has nearly stilled. Only now and then does it move, brushing gently through branches. The trees respond with faint creaks, small and slow. Animals remain quiet. Most have settled into stillness. Only the smallest movements continue. A distant rustle, a soft shifting of something unseen. The sounds are rare now, widely spaced, each one rising gently, then fading completely. Inside, the quiet is deeper than before. Those who share the space with you are resting as well. Their breathing blends softly with yours. Occasionally, someone shifts slightly. A blanket moves, straw whispers, then stillness returns once more. In these hours, the night feels endless, not in a heavy way, but in a wide, open sense. There is no rush toward morning, no sense of time passing quickly, only a long, quiet stretch of darkness. You drift in and out of sleep, sometimes deeper, sometimes lighter, never fully lost, never fully awake. A sound may reach you faintly, a distant animal, a small movement within the room. Your awareness rises just enough to notice, then it settles again. The body does not react strongly. There is no sudden movement, no tension, only a soft acknowledgement and then a return to stillness. The air feels different now, colder than before, though still calm. You pull the blanket slightly closer without thinking. A small adjustment, a quiet response to the night's slow change, then stillness again. Your breathing remains steady. Your mind drifts further, carried by the same gentle rhythm. This is the quiet center of the night, a place where everything slows, where sound becomes rare, where even thought feels distant. And yet sleep is never complete. There is always a small awareness beneath it, a soft presence that listens, that feels, that remains. The hours continue in this way, unnoticed, uncounted, just a long, steady drifting through darkness. And slowly, very slowly, something begins to change. Not yet visible, not yet clear, but present. A subtle shift in the air, a faint lightness that has not yet become light. The night is still deep, still calm, but it is no longer untouched by time. Morning, though far away, has already begun its quiet approach, and you remain here, resting within the final stretch of the night, breathing slowly, drifting gently, carried forward without effort. The night begins to soften in a way that is almost impossible to see. There is still darkness, deep, steady darkness that fills the room and stretches across the land outside, and yet something within it has changed. A very faint lightness rests behind the darkness now, not visible to the eyes, only felt, like a quiet breath moving through the air. You remain lying where you are. Your body is still, heavy but peaceful. The straw beneath you has grown warm from your presence. It holds that warmth gently, even as the air around it remains cool. The blanket rests close to your skin, soft and still. The chill of the night has reached its deepest point. The air feels colder now than it did before. It moves slowly, quietly, touching the edges of the room, slipping along the floor, brushing against the sides of your bed. Your breathing continues, slow, even, unbroken, in and out,
Your mind drifts in a quiet space, neither fully asleep nor fully awake. Thoughts are faint, almost weightless. They rise softly like mist and disappear just as easily. There is no effort in holding them, no need to follow them. They come and go on their own. Outside, the world continues in its own silent rhythm. The wind has nearly vanished. The trees stand still, their branches quiet and unmoving. The night animals that once called out have grown silent. Their sounds no longer drift through the darkness. Instead, there is a pause, a stillness that feels different than before, as if the world itself is resting between breaths. The sky, though unseen from within, has begun its slow transformation. It remains dark, but the darkness is no longer complete. A faint softness has entered it, a hint of what will come, though not yet revealed. Inside, the room remains calm. No voices, no movement beyond the smallest shifts of sleeping bodies. A quiet breath from someone nearby, a soft rustle of straw, then stillness returns once more. The fire is gone now. No glow remains, only the memory of warmth, held lightly in the air and in the walls. The scent of smoke lingers faintly, blending with the coolness of the early morning hours. You drift a little closer to waking, not fully, just enough to feel the change. A slight awareness returns, the sense that time has passed, that something is different, though you cannot say exactly what. Your body remains heavy, still resting, but the depth of sleep has softened. The boundary between sleep and waking grows thinner. This is the first quiet moment of pre-dawn, the hour when the night begins to loosen its hold, when darkness is no longer at its deepest, when the world prepares slowly and gently for the return of light. You breathe in the cool air. It feels fresh, calm, unmoving. Your chest rises and falls in the same steady rhythm. Your limbs remain relaxed, but somewhere beneath the stillness there is a quiet readiness, not urgency, not wakefulness, just a soft awareness that morning is approaching. Outside, the silence continues. No birds yet, no footsteps, no voices, only the wide open quiet of the world waiting. Waiting without hurry, waiting without sound. The sky continues its slow, unseen shift from deep black to something softer, something gentler, though not yet hidden from view. You remain resting in this moment, suspended between night and day, between deep sleep and gentle waking, a place where everything feels still, yet quietly moving forward. The long night is ending, but it does not end suddenly. It fades, softly, gradually, like breath slowing into calm. And you remain here, drifting lightly as the first faint signs of morning begin to form beyond the darkness. The night begins to soften in a way that is almost impossible to see. There is still darkness, deep, steady darkness that fills the room and stretches across the land outside.
Morning settles gently over the land, not as a sudden arrival, but as a slow unfolding. The soft gray light deepens into something clearer now. Shapes become steady, edges sharpen just enough to be understood, though everything still carries a quiet softness. Inside the room, the darkness has lifted. What was once hidden is now visible in calm, muted tones. The wooden walls, the packed earth floor, the straw scattered beneath sleeping places, everything rests in a pale, early light. You lie still for a moment longer. Your body feels different now, not fully rested, but not heavy either. There is a quiet stiffness in your limbs, a faint reminder of the night that passed in small pieces rather than one long rest. Your breathing has changed, still slow, but more aware, more connected to the world around you. In and out. Nearby, someone begins to wake. A soft movement, a slow stretch, the quiet sound of cloth shifting against skin. There is no hurry, no sudden rising, only the gentle return of motion. Another person stirs. A faint sigh escapes into the morning air. Straw rustles as they turn, adjusting their position before fully waking. The room fills with these small sounds, soft, natural, unforced. Outside, the world is now awake, though still calm. Birds call more freely, their voices layering softly over one another. The sound is not loud, just steady, a background of life returning. The air carries a slight warmth now, still cool from the night, but touched by the coming sun. It moves through open spaces, brushing lightly against faces, hands, and the edges of blankets. You begin to move as well, a slow stretch of your arms. Your fingers shift slightly, feeling the rough texture of the blanket. Your shoulders rise, then settle again, the body waking in small steps. There is no sharp moment of alertness, no sudden clarity, only a gradual return. The mind follows slowly. Thoughts come gently, simple, unrushed. There is a quiet awareness of the day ahead, though it does not feel heavy. It simply exists, waiting. Someone sits up nearby. The movement is slow, careful. Their weight shifts, causing the straw beneath them to press and whisper softly. They pause for a moment, as if letting their body adjust. Then they move again, placing their feet on the ground. The earth is cool beneath them. The sensation travels upward, steady and grounding. Another follows. A second figure rises slowly, pulling their blanket aside. The fabric folds softly, settling where it falls. No words are spoken yet. The morning does not begin with voices. It begins with movement. Quiet, steady movement. You begin to sit as well. Your body responds slowly. There is a slight stiffness in your back, a gentle resistance that fades as you move. Your feet touch the ground. The coolness is immediate, but not uncomfortable, just a clear reminder that the day has begun. The room feels different now, less like a place of rest, more like a place of beginning. The air moves more freely. Light fills the space more completely. The shadows retreat into corners, softened by the light. You take a moment to sit fully, feeling the day settle into your body. Your breathing is even, not slow like sleep, not fast like urgency, just steady, present. The first food of the day is simple, a small bowl, something warm, something plain. It is eaten slowly, without rush or distraction. Each bite is unremarkable, but grounding, a quiet return to physical awareness. Around you, others eat as well. There is little conversation yet, only the soft sounds of morning routine, movement of hands, the quiet placing of bowls, the occasional shift of straw underfoot. Everything blends into a calm rhythm, the kind of rhythm that defines daily life here. Not fast, not structured in modern ways, but steady and continuous. You feel your body respond to the food and warmth. Energy returns slowly, not sharply, just gradually, like light spreading across a room. The tiredness from the night is still there, but it is no longer heavy. It sits in the background, no longer in control. The day is now fully underway. Chores will continue soon. Work will begin. Tools will be lifted, fields tended, animals cared for. But for this moment, there is still calm, a small space of morning stillness before labor begins. And you remain within it, breathing, resting, slowly becoming part of the day again.
The day settles into early afternoon. The sun now rests high in the sky, its light steady and warm. It falls gently across rooftops, fields, and narrow paths, touching everything with a soft glow. Inside the home, the warmth is noticeable but not overwhelming. It lingers in the air, blending with the faint scent of straw, wood, and slow-burning fire. The rhythm of life continues unbroken, steady, and calm. Outside, animals move more slowly now. Cows stand or lie in quiet rest, chewing gently. Goats gather in small clusters, their movements soft and unhurried. Chickens wander in shaded patches, pecking quietly at the ground. The wind has softened. It drifts lightly through trees, barely stirring the leaves. Branches sway just enough to create a faint, whispering sound. Even the birds have grown quieter, their songs less frequent, more spaced, as if resting in the warmth of the day. Inside, the household continues its work. Cloth may be mended carefully, thread passing slowly through fabric. Wood may be shaped or smoothed with steady hands. Tools are handled gently, each motion practiced and familiar. No movement is wasted, no sound is sharp, everything follows a quiet rhythm. You remain still, lying beneath your blanket, though the warmth now touches your skin more fully. The straw beneath you shifts slightly as your body adjusts. Your limbs stretch softly, your chest rises and falls in a calm, steady pattern. The mind drifts. Thoughts come and go, slow and unformed. Fragments of memory, faint images, soft awareness of the world around you. Nothing stays long, nothing demands attention. The body feels the weight of the day, not as strain, but as a gentle heaviness. Muscles relax deeper. Breath slows even more. There is a quiet stillness in the afternoon, a natural pause in the rhythm of work. Not a full stop, but a soft slowing, a moment where effort eases just slightly. Outside, the fields hold the warmth of sunlight. The earth smells faintly dry and warm. Insects may hum softly in the distance, their sound low and continuous, a quiet presence rather than a disturbance. The world does not sleep, but it softens, it slows, it breathes more gently. Inside, small tasks continue. A pot may be shifted, water poured, a tool set down carefully. Footsteps move lightly across the floor. Each sound blends into the calm, never breaking it. You remain in that delicate balance, not asleep, not fully awake. Your body rests, your mind floats, breath steady, slow in, slow out. Even here in the middle of the day, the pattern of rest continues in its own quiet way, because the night did not bring full sleep, because rest came in pieces, because the body learned to gather stillness whenever it could. And so, in the warmth of afternoon, in the quiet rhythm of work and pause, there is a gentle drifting, a soft echo of night carried into the day. Time moves forward, slowly, without urgency. The sun will begin to lower again. Shadows will lengthen. The air will cool, and the long cycle will continue once more. Day easing into evening, evening into night, night bringing once again that uneven, quiet rest. You breathe softly. Your chest rises and falls with calm regularity. Your limbs rest comfortably. The straw beneath you settles. The air cools further, softly brushing your skin. Outside, animals find their places. Inside, the household prepares in silence and small motion. And you drift, gently, in the quiet space between day and night. The afternoon begins to soften. The sun, once high and steady, now starts its slow descent. Its light grows warmer, more golden, stretching gently across the land.
Shadows lengthen across fields and narrow paths. They fall softly along walls and through doorways, shifting almost unnoticed. The warmth of the day lingers, but it begins to ease. A faint coolness returns to the air, carried on a light and patient breeze. You remain resting quietly, your body still softened by the slow rhythm of the day. The straw beneath you adjusts with the slightest movement. Your limbs stretch gently, then settle again. Your breath remains steady. Slow in, slow out. Outside, animals move with quieter intention now. Cows begin to gather closer, their slow steps measured and calm. Goats drift toward familiar resting places. Chickens wander back toward their coops, their soft clucks blending into the fading light. The sounds of the afternoon grow softer, less frequent, more spaced apart. The wind brushes through trees again, a little more present now. Leaves rustle gently, branches sway with a slow, easy rhythm. Inside, the household continues its steady work, though the pace begins to ease. Tools are set down more often, movements become slower, more deliberate. Cloth is folded, wood is stacked, water is carried one last time before evening. Small preparations begin quietly, not yet for sleep, but for the gradual closing of the day. You feel the shift, even without moving. The body senses the change in light, the cooling air, the soft return of evening. Muscles relax deeper. The warmth of the afternoon fades gently from your skin. The mind drifts again, carried between awareness and rest. Fragments of thought appear, then fade, soft, shapeless, unimportant. The kind of thoughts that come when there is nothing to hurry towards, nothing to hold tightly. The world itself seems to exhale slowly. After the long stretch of daylight, there is a quiet release, a gentle unwinding. Even the smallest sounds reflect this change. Footsteps become lighter. Voices, if they appear, remain soft and low. The distant hum of insects continues, blending with the whisper of wind. The sky begins its slow transformation. Though you may not see it directly, the light shifts in tone, from bright and pale to warm and golden, to something softer still. Inside the home, shadows stretch longer across the floor. They move slowly, almost like the turning of a page. The fire in the hearth may be stirred again, not for warmth alone, but for the coming evening meal. Its glow returns softly, flickering against the walls. The scent of smoke rises once more, familiar and calming. You remain still, letting the rhythm carry you. The body feels heavier now, not with fatigue alone, but with a quiet readiness for rest. Even though the night has not yet come, the preparation has already begun. The cycle continues, as it always does. Day gently giving way to evening, evening preparing for night, and night bringing once again that uneven, quiet rest. You breathe softly. Your chest rises and falls with calm regularity. Your limbs rest comfortably. The straw beneath you settles. The air cools further, softly brushing your skin. Outside, animals find their places. Inside, the household prepares in silence and small motion. And you drift, gently, in the quiet space between day and night.
Morning settles gently over the land, not as a sudden arrival, but as a slow unfolding. The soft gray light deepens into something clearer now. Shapes become steady, edges sharpen just enough to be understood, though everything still carries a quiet softness. Inside the room, the darkness has lifted. What was once hidden is now visible in calm, muted tones. The wooden walls, the packed earth floor, the straw scattered beneath sleeping places, everything rests in a pale, early light. You lie still for a moment longer. Your body feels different now. Not fully rested, but not heavy either. There is a quiet stiffness in your limbs, a faint reminder of the night that passed in small pieces rather than one long rest. Your breathing has changed, still slow, but more aware, more connected to the world around you. In and out. Nearby, someone begins to wake, a soft movement, a slow stretch, the quiet sound of cloth shifting against skin. There is no hurry, no sudden rising, only the gentle return of motion. Another person stirs. A faint sigh escapes into the morning air. Straw rustles as they turn, adjusting their position before fully waking. The room fills with these small sounds, soft, natural, unforced. Outside, the world is now awake, though still calm. Birds call more freely, their voices layering softly over one another. The sound is not loud, just steady, a background of life returning. The air carries a slight warmth now, still cool from the night, but touched by the coming sun. It moves through open spaces, brushing lightly against faces, hands, and the edges of blankets. You begin to move as well, a slow stretch of your arms. Your fingers shift slightly, feeling the rough texture of the blanket. Your shoulders rise, then settle again, the body waking in small steps. There is no sharp moment of alertness, no sudden clarity, only a gradual return. The mind follows slowly. Thoughts come gently, simple, unrushed. There is a quiet awareness of the day ahead, though it does not feel heavy. It simply exists, waiting. Someone sits up nearby. The movement is slow, careful. Their weight shifts, causing the straw beneath them to press and whisper softly. They pause for a moment, as if letting their body adjust. Then they move again, placing their feet on the ground. The earth is cool beneath them. The sensation travels upward, steady and grounding. Another follows. A second figure rises slowly, pulling their blanket aside. The fabric folds softly, settling where it falls. No words are spoken yet. The morning does not begin with voices. It begins with movement. Quiet, steady movement. You begin to sit as well. Your body responds slowly. There is a slight stiffness in your back, a gentle resistance that fades as you move. Your feet touch the ground. The coolness is immediate, but not uncomfortable. Just a clear reminder that the day has begun. The room feels different now, less like a place of rest, more like a place of beginning. The air moves more freely. Light fills the space more completely. The shadows retreat into corners, softened by the light. You take a moment to sit fully, feeling the day settle into your body. Your breathing is even, not slow like sleep, not fast like urgency, just steady, present. The first food of the day is simple, a small bowl, something warm, something plain. It is eaten slowly, without rush or distraction. Each bite is unremarkable, but grounding, a quiet return to physical awareness. Around you, others eat as well. There is little conversation yet, only the soft sounds of morning routine, movement of hands, the quiet placing of bowls, the occasional shift of straw underfoot. Everything blends into a calm rhythm, the kind of rhythm that defines daily life here. Not fast, not structured in modern ways, but steady and continuous. You feel your body respond to the food and warmth. Energy returns slowly, not sharply, just gradually, like light spreading across a room. The tiredness from the night is still there, but it is no longer heavy. It sits in the background, no longer in control. The day is now fully underway. Chores will continue soon. Work will begin. Tools will be lifted, fields tended, animals cared for. But for this moment, there is still calm, a small space of morning stillness before labor begins. And you remain within it, breathing, resting, slowly becoming part of the day again.
The morning shifts from quiet routine into steady work. The soft calm of early day does not disappear. It simply becomes part of movement now, part of effort, part of life continuing forward. Outside, the air feels a little warmer. The light is stronger, clearer, spreading evenly across the village. Shadows are shorter now, but still soft at their edges. People begin to move with purpose, not hurried, but no longer still. You step outside, or toward the threshold of the home. The ground beneath your feet is cool at first, then slowly familiar. Earth, slightly damp in places, firm in others. The kind of ground walked on every day without thought. Around you, others are already beginning tasks. A man lifts a simple tool, worn from repeated use. A woman carries water in a container, moving carefully to avoid spilling. A child follows quietly, learning by watching rather than speaking. Everything feels practiced, repetitive, known. The fields beyond the village are already in view. They do not feel distant. They feel connected to daily life, like an extension of the home itself. People move toward them slowly, gathering what they need. Tools are checked. Hands adjust grips. Clothing is settled for comfort and ease of movement. There is no ceremony to it, only transition from rest to work. The body still carries traces of night, a slight heaviness in the shoulders, a quiet stiffness in the legs. Nothing strong enough to stop movement, but noticeable in small ways. Breathing deepens slightly as you begin to walk. Step by step, the rhythm of work takes over. The village sounds continue behind you, doors opening, footsteps on packed earth, the faint calling of animals being led or guided, a distant hammering sound, slow and spaced out from some simple repair work. The world is awake now in full, not chaotic, but active, steady. Fields stretch out ahead, calm under the morning sky. The soil looks dark and rich in places, lighter and dry in others. Work begins there without delay. Hands meet earth, tools press into ground. Movement is repetitive and patient. No single action stands out. It is the repetition that defines the day. Lift, turn, set down, repeat. Around you, others work in similar rhythm, each person focused on small, immediate tasks. There is little talking. If words are spoken, they are short and practical. A direction, a response, then silence again. The sound of work blends into the environment, metal against soil, wood against wood, footsteps moving through grass and dirt, occasional pauses to adjust or rest briefly. The sun continues its rise, now steady and comfortable overhead. Warmth spreads across the fields, not harsh yet, just present. The body begins to adjust to movement, muscles warming slowly. Tiredness from the night still exists, but it is now distant. It no longer controls the body. It simply follows along quietly. Work continues in cycles. Short effort, brief pause, then effort again. There is no rush to finish anything quickly. Time is wide. The day is long, and everything is done in pieces. You find your rhythm without thinking too much about it. The repetition becomes calming in its own way, a steady pattern that carries the body forward. Even with limited sleep, even with fragmented rest, movement feels possible, necessary, natural. The medieval morning is not designed around full recovery. It is designed around continuation. And so the work begins, not as something separate from life, but as life itself, unfolding slowly under the open sky. The morning work continues, and time begins to stretch again, not in a rushed way, but in a long, steady rhythm that feels almost endless. The sun rises higher now, settling into its place in the sky. Its light grows stronger, but still remains calm. It spreads evenly across fields and paths, warming everything without pressure. You are still working, still moving, still part of the quiet labor of the day. The motions have become more familiar now. The body adjusts through repetition. Lift, turn, place, step, repeat. Each movement follows the one before it without thought. The rhythm becomes almost natural, like breathing. Around you, others continue the same pattern. No one moves quickly. No one lingers too long. Everything is balanced between effort and pause. A brief rest here, a small adjustment there, then back to work again. The ground beneath your feet feels more worn now from constant movement. Soft dirt, flattened grass, the quiet marks of many days like this before. There is a faint weight in your body now, not exhaustion, but a slow accumulation of effort, the kind that builds gently over hours without being noticed at first. Your shoulders feel it, your arms feel it. Even your breathing carries a slightly deeper rhythm now, still steady, just more present. The tasks continue without change, the same tools, the same soil, the same motions repeated again and again. This repetition is not seen as tiring in the way it might be today. It is simply how the day exists. Work is not separated from life. It is life itself, unfolding under the open sky. The village in the distance remains active. Occasional sounds drift across the fields. A cart moving slowly, a brief call between two people, the soft creak of wood under weight. Animals shifting, grazing, being guided from one place to another. Everything exists in a steady background of sound. Nothing stands out sharply. The sun continues its slow path overhead. The light is now brighter, more direct, but still gentle. It touches your skin with warmth that builds gradually. The body responds without resistance, adjusting, adapting, continuing. Even with fragmented sleep from the night before, work does not pause. There is no expectation of full rest before labor begins. Rest exists in small pieces, in moments between movement, in brief pauses that allow breath to settle. And so you continue. The mind drifts occasionally during repetition, not into deep thought, but into soft, passing awareness. The sky, the sound of movement, the feel of tools in your hands, then back again to the task in front of you. Time becomes less defined here. There is no clear beginning or end to the work period. Only continuation, only rhythm, only the steady passing of hours marked by effort. The body grows accustomed to it. Fatigue does not stop movement. It simply becomes part of it, a quiet companion to the day. And so the labor continues under the wide, open sky. Not fast, not urgent, just steady, just ongoing, just life moving forward in its simplest form.
Late morning arrives quietly, without any clear boundary. The sun is higher now, and the light is steady across the fields. It is warm, but not harsh. Still, something subtle begins to change in the body, a slow heaviness that was not there earlier. Work continues as before, the same movements, the same tools, the same steady rhythm of labor under the open sky. But now everything feels slightly slower inside you, not outside, inside. Your hands still move, your feet still step, your body still follows the task in front of it. But the mind begins to drift in small, quiet ways. A soft fog settles behind your thoughts. Not confusion, not sleep, something in between. You pause briefly between actions, just for a moment, not to rest fully, but because attention slips slightly before returning. The body continues even when the mind drifts away for a second, then catches up again. Around you, others show the same quiet shift. Movements remain steady, but a little less sharp, a little more automatic. Hands repeat familiar motions without much thought. The work is still being done correctly, but it is carried more by habit than focus now. The sound of the field has softened into a continuous background. No individual sound stands out for long. Everything blends together. Footsteps, tools, distant voices, the faint movement of wind across crops and grass. It all becomes one steady layer of sound.
Your breathing deepens slightly, not from effort alone, but from fatigue settling in slowly. The kind of fatigue that does not announce itself clearly, it just arrives quietly. You may blink a little longer than before, or pause your hands for a fraction of a moment more between tasks. These small changes are subtle, almost invisible, but they are there. The result of broken sleep from the night before. Sleep that came in fragments, not full cycles, not deep rest, just pieces held together by time. The mind reflects that fragmentation now. Thoughts do not stay steady. They come and go more loosely. A half-formed idea about the task, a brief memory of waking during the night, then nothing, then back to the present movement again. The sun continues its path, steady and indifferent. Its light does not change, but your perception of it softens slightly. Warmth feels heavier on the skin now, not uncomfortable, just more present. The field seems quieter in a different way, not less active, just less sharp in focus. The world feels slightly distant for a moment, then returns. This is the late morning state, a gentle mental fog caused not by illness or exhaustion alone, but the natural rhythm of broken medieval sleep, where night never fully restored the body, and day never allowed full recovery before work began again. Still, the body continues. Step, lift, turn, repeat. There is no stopping point, only continuation through the haze. And somehow, that is enough. The rhythm carries everything forward, even when the mind is soft, even when attention slips, even when the body feels slightly heavier than before. The work continues under the steady light of late morning, quiet, repetitive, enduring, just as it always has. Midday arrives slowly, like a soft weight settling over the land. The sun is now high and steady, and its warmth spreads more fully across the fields. The light feels brighter, but still calm, as if the world is resting under it rather than being pushed by it. The air grows warmer, not harsh, but noticeable. It gathers gently around the body, resting on skin and clothing, making movement feel slightly heavier. Work continues, but the rhythm has changed again, not in direction, only in feeling. The same tasks are still there, the same fields, the same tools, but now the body carries them with a deeper sense of weight. Your arms feel slower between motions. Your steps feel slightly more deliberate. Not difficult, just less light than before. The mental fog from late morning has not disappeared. It has deepened a little, spreading more evenly through thought and attention. You still know what you are doing. You still continue the task, but focus comes and goes in soft waves. A moment of clarity, then a brief softness, then clarity again. Around you, others move in the same quiet state. No one is stopping fully, but the pace has softened. Movements are less sharp. Pauses between actions are a little longer. The field is quieter now in its own way, not in sound, but in energy. The wind moves gently, carrying warmth instead of coolness. It passes through crops and grass in slow, even patterns. Occasional sounds still appear, a tool set down carefully, a brief exchange of words, a distant animal call. But everything feels spaced out, less dense than earlier in the morning. The body begins to ask for small moments of relief, not full rest, just brief easing, a shift of weight from one foot to another, a moment of standing still, a slow breath taken more deeply than usual. These are not breaks in work, they are part of it. The system of the day allows them naturally. The heat makes them necessary. The broken sleep from the night before makes them unavoidable. There is no alarm in this, no urgency, only adjustment, the kind of adjustment the body has learned over many days like this. You wipe your hand across your brow at some point without thinking much about it. A small gesture, almost automatic. Then you return to motion again. Lift, turn, place, repeat. Time feels slower now, not because it has changed, but because attention is thinner, more spread out, less anchored. The sun remains steady above, marking the middle of the day. Its presence is constant, almost unmoving from this perspective. The fields seem still in comparison, even as work continues within them. The mind drifts again in brief moments, not into sleep, but into softness, a quiet space where thought is not fully formed. Then it returns. This is midday, a time where fatigue and warmth meet in the body, where sleep debt from the night presses gently against the demands of the day. And yet, work does not stop. It simply changes texture, becomes slower, heavier, more patient, and life continues within it, under the sun, through the haze, in steady, unbroken motion.
Midday does not end with a clear break. It softens instead, like a long breath slowly released from the world. The sun remains high, but something in the rhythm of work begins to ease. Not stopping, just slowing. In the fields and near the village, movement becomes less continuous. Hands still hold tools, but they rest more often between actions. Bodies stand still for a few extra moments before continuing. A quiet pause spreads naturally through the day. Not planned, not announced, just accepted. You feel it too. That gentle pause settling into your body. The heat of the sun is steady now, and your clothes feel warm against your skin. Your arms hang loosely for a moment as you stop between tasks. The ground beneath your feet feels firm and unmoving, and for a short while, nothing demands immediate motion. Around you, others also pause. Some sit briefly in the shade of a wall or tree. Others remain standing, but still, letting their bodies rest without fully lying down. No one speaks much. There is no need. The silence is not empty. It is full of shared tiredness, a quiet understanding passed without words. This is the midday pause. Not a formal rest, not sleep, but a soft suspension of effort. A moment where the body is allowed to settle without completely stopping. The mind, too, loosens its grip slightly. Thoughts drift more freely now, not focused on tasks, not structured, just passing gently through awareness. The memory of early morning work feels distant already. The effort that has passed is not gone, but it is softened by distance. The future of the day is not yet pressing, so there is only this moment. Warm air, stillness, light movement of wind across fields. You take a deeper breath without realizing it. It feels slower than before, more open. The body uses this pause to recover in small ways. Not fully, not deeply, but enough to continue. Around you, someone leans against a wooden structure, eyes half closed for a moment. Another adjusts their position on the ground, letting weight settle differently for comfort. These are not acts of sleep. They are something quieter, a resting of the waking body inside the middle of the day. Even animals seem to match the rhythm. Cows remain still in shaded areas. Chickens move less actively now, pecking more slowly. The entire world feels slightly suspended. The sun continues its path across the sky, but its intensity is softened by the body's perception of this pause. Time does not stop, but it becomes less noticeable. The pressure of constant movement eases. For a short while, life becomes simple stillness within motion. And then, gently, without urgency, the pause begins to loosen again. A hand reaches for a tool. A body shifts upright. A step is taken forward. Work will resume soon, but not all at once. It returns gradually, like breath coming back after rest. You feel yourself preparing as well. Not fully refreshed, but slightly steadier than before. The midday pause does not erase fatigue, it simply makes it lighter.
just enough to continue. And so the day prepares to move forward again, slowly, quietly, back into the rhythm of afternoon life. The quiet midday pause begins to dissolve, slowly and gently, like mist thinning in the sun. There is no clear signal that it is ending, only a gradual return of movement. A shift in posture here, a lifted tool there. A step forward that starts the rhythm again. Work resumes, not suddenly, but as if the world remembers what it was doing. The sun remains high, steady, and warm. Its light presses evenly across the fields, now stronger than earlier, carrying the full weight of afternoon. The air feels warmer again, still not harsh, but more present against the skin. You return to motion. Your body adjusts back into effort with a familiar heaviness. Not resistance, just awareness that rest has ended. Hands lift tools once more. Feet find the worn paths through earth and grass. The rhythm begins again. Lift, turn, place, repeat. But now there is a subtle difference. The midday pause has left something behind in the body. A faint softness, a temporary easing that slowly fades as movement continues. The fatigue that had gathered earlier is still there, but it has shifted slightly. Less sharp, more spread out. Around you, others also return to work at their own pace. Some faster, some slower. No one fully refreshed, but all continuing. The field becomes active again in a calm, steady way. Not as intense as the morning, not as quiet as the pause. Something in between, balanced, sustained. The sun continues its long arc across the sky. Its position now marks the beginning of the long afternoon stretch. Time feels wide again, not paused, not rushing, just extending forward without clear edges. The body begins to settle back into effort. The earlier fog has thinned slightly, but not disappeared. There are still moments where focus drifts, still brief pauses between actions. But the rhythm holds. Work continues through repetition and habit. The soil feels familiar beneath tools now. The movements require less thought than earlier in the day. They are carried by practice more than attention. Around you, the sounds of the afternoon grow steady again. The soft scraping of tools. Occasional footsteps across dry earth. A distant voice calling briefly, then fading. The wind moves lightly through the fields, carrying warmth and dust together in a slow current. Everything feels stable again in motion. Not energetic, not exhausted, simply ongoing. The body adapts once more. Muscles warm with repeated movement. Breathing remains steady and calm. The mind floats in and out of focus in gentle cycles. There is no urgency in any of it, only continuation. The kind that defines the long medieval day, where work does not begin or end sharply, but flows from pause into effort and back again over time. And so the afternoon continues, slow, steady, and unbroken, carrying both the weight of the morning and the softness of the midday pause together into the hours ahead.
The afternoon slowly begins to lose its strength. Not suddenly, not clearly, but in a quiet, almost unnoticeable way. The sun is still high, yet it no longer feels as sharp in its presence. Its light grows softer at the edges, less intense on the skin. The fields remain bright, but the feeling of the day begins to change. A slow heaviness returns to the body. Different from the earlier morning fatigue, this one is deeper, more settled. It comes from hours of continuous movement, repetition, and heat. Your hands still work, your feet still move, but each action now carries a slightly longer pause before it begins. Not hesitation, just wait. The rhythm of labor continues, but it has slowed again. Lift, turn, place, repeat. Yet between each motion there is a small space, a fraction of stillness, the kind that grows naturally after a long day. Around you, others move in the same quiet state. The field is still active, but less sharp than before. Movements are steady, but softened. Energy is present, but reduced. The air carries warmth that feels heavier now. It rests more fully on the body. Clothing clings slightly with heat and effort. Breathing deepens in response, becoming more noticeable. The wind returns at times, but it is gentle and inconsistent. It brushes through the fields, then fades again, like a slow, tired breath of the land itself. You pause briefly between tasks, not resting fully, just standing still for a moment. The world does not stop with you, but it allows it. The pause feels natural, expected, even if unspoken. Then movement resumes again, slowly, carefully. The fatigue from the night before is no longer hidden. It is fully settled into the body now. Not overwhelming, but persistent. A quiet background weight that remains no matter what you do. The mind reflects this change as well. Thoughts drift more often now. Focus comes in shorter bursts, then slips away again into softness. You still know what you are doing, but attention no longer stays firmly in one place for long. The sun begins its descent, almost imperceptibly at first. Shadows stretch slightly longer across the ground. Edges of objects become more defined again as the light angle changes. This shift is subtle, but the body feels it, a signal that the day is moving forward toward its closing hours. Work continues, but with less intensity. Not less importance, just less energy behind it. The field feels quieter again, not in sound, but in motion. Everything is still happening, but with reduced force, as if the entire world is conserving what remains of its strength. You continue your task. Step, lift, turn, repeat. But now each repetition feels slightly longer, slightly heavier. The afternoon is entering its final stretch, a long, slow path toward evening, and the body, already shaped by broken sleep and steady labor, begins to prepare for that transition. Not with awareness, but with feeling. A soft pull toward rest that has not yet arrived. And still, you continue, as the day leans gently toward its end. Late afternoon arrives with a quiet shift in the light. It is not a sudden change, only a slow softening of the sun's strength. The brightness that once filled the fields begins to feel more angled now, more stretched. Shadows lengthen again across the ground, gently marking the passing hours. The air cools just slightly, though warmth still lingers in the soil and on the skin. Work continues, but the rhythm has changed once more. It is no longer the steady push of earlier hours, nor the heavy pause of midday. It becomes something more measured, more final, the last portion of effort before the day closes. Movements are slower now, more deliberate, not from lack of ability, but from accumulated fatigue. The body has carried the entire day already. Morning labor, midday heat, afternoon repetition, and now everything feels like it is nearing completion. You lift a tool again. The motion feels familiar, almost automatic, but there is a quiet relief in knowing that it will not continue forever today. Around you, others share the same gradual easing. The field is still active, but less dense with movement. People stand a little longer between tasks, rest briefly without fully stopping, adjusting, shifting, preparing to end. The wind returns more steadily now, not strong, but consistent. It moves through the fields with a cooler touch, carrying the first clearer signs of evening. The sun lowers further, casting a warmer, softer glow across everything it touches. The land feels quieter in a different way now, not from lack of sound, but from a sense of winding down. The mind begins to mirror this change as well.
Focus becomes easier in short moments, but it no longer holds tightly. There is less urgency to sustain attention, less pressure to continue without a pause. Fatigue remains present in the body, but it is no longer only weight. It is also anticipation, a quiet awareness that the day is approaching its end. Work continues in final cycles, a few more repetitions, a few more adjustments. Then brief pauses grow slightly longer. People begin to look toward the village more often without saying anything, not out of distraction, but from natural rhythm. The end of work is not spoken, it is felt. The tools are still in use, but they are used with less force now, more care, more softness, as if preserving the last energy of the day. The shadows stretch further, the light begins to lose its brightness, turning more golden, more muted. The fields feel different under this light, quieter, even while still active. And inside the body, something shifts as well. Not recovery, not rest yet, but a gentle easing of tension. The knowledge that work will end soon brings a quiet relief that settles into the muscles. You continue, step by step, toward that ending, not rushing it, not resisting it, just moving with it, as the day slowly prepares to close.
Evening arrives quietly, like a curtain being gently lowered over the land. The light changes first, not disappearing, but softening into warm gold, then into deeper amber tones that stretch long across the fields. Shadows grow wide and slow, covering the ground in calm shapes. The final moments of work begin to end. There is no announcement, no clear signal, only a natural slowing, shared by everyone at once. Hands that were working begin to still. Tools are set down carefully into the earth or carried back toward the village. Bodies straighten slowly, adjusting after hours of repetition and effort. You feel it too, that quiet release, the end of the day's labor arriving not as relief alone, but as a change in rhythm. Step by step, movement turns away from the fields, back toward home, back toward warmth, back toward the familiar space of evening life. The walk feels different from the morning path, slower, heavier, not from exhaustion alone, but from the accumulation of everything the day has carried. The sun lowers further behind the horizon. Its light no longer presses strongly on the world. Instead, it lingers gently, fading across rooftops, trees, and paths. The village becomes more active again, but in a softer way. Not labor now, transition. People return carrying tools, baskets, or empty hands resting at their sides. Animals are guided back into pens. Doors open and close with quiet familiarity. The sounds of evening begin to form. Not loud, not sharp, just present. A soft reweaving of life returning inward. Inside the home, the fire is rekindled or strengthened. Flames rise again, casting warm light across the room. The glow feels comforting after the long stretch of outdoor labor. It fills corners with gentle movement, flickering across walls and faces. Food begins to appear once more. Simple evening meals prepared slowly. Bread, porridge, whatever has been saved or prepared earlier in the day. Everything is handled with care, but without urgency. This is not the hurried morning, nor the heavy midday. This is a softer time, a time of return. You sit or stand within this space, your body finally easing from the constant rhythm of work. Muscles feel tired, but not strained in a sharp way, more like a deep, steady weight settling into them, the kind that comes after a full day lived entirely in motion. Breathing slows again, not from rest yet, but from release. Around you, others settle in the same way.
There is more silence now between actions, more stillness between words. Occasional conversation begins, but it is low and brief. Nothing demands attention anymore. The day's urgency has fully dissolved. Outside, the sky continues to darken slowly. The last traces of daylight fade into soft blue and then into deeper tones of evening. The world begins to quiet again, but differently than before. Not the silence of night yet, but the calm before it. Inside, the warmth of the fire grows more noticeable as the only strong light. It becomes the center of the room again, the place everything gathers around. And you feel it clearly now. The transition is complete. Work is done. The body is no longer required to move with purpose, only to exist in stillness for a while. Fatigue is present, but softened by rest in sight. And so the evening holds you gently. Not yet sleep, not yet night, but the quiet beginning of both. Night settles slowly over the village. It does not fall all at once. It drifts in, gently, as the last traces of light fade from the sky. The blue of evening deepens into darker tones until shapes become softer, less defined. Outside, the paths grow quiet again. Movement becomes less frequent. Doors close, voices lower. The world begins to fold inward. Inside the home, the fire remains the center of everything. Its glow is warmer now against the surrounding darkness. It flickers across wooden walls, across simple objects, across tired faces. The room feels smaller at night. Not because it has changed, but because the outside world has disappeared into shadow. What remains is only this space, this warmth, this quiet. You sit close to the fire, not always speaking, not always moving, just being there. The body, after a long day, begins to slow in deeper ways now. Muscles soften gradually. The weight of fatigue settles more fully into your limbs. Not sharp, not painful, just present. Breathing becomes slower, more even. The rhythm of the body begins to match the stillness of the room. Around you, others settle in the same way. There is more silence now between actions, more stillness between words. Occasional conversation begins, but it is low and brief. Nothing demands attention anymore. The day's urgency has fully dissolved. Outside, the sky continues to darken slowly. The last traces of daylight fade into soft blue and then into deeper tones of evening. The world begins to quiet again, but differently than before. Not the silence of night yet, but the calm before it. Inside, the warmth of the fire grows more noticeable as the only strong light. It becomes the center of the room again, the place everything gathers around. And you feel it clearly now. The transition is complete. Work is done. The body is no longer required to move with purpose, only to exist in stillness for a while. Fatigue is present, but softened by rest in sight. And so the evening holds you gently. Not yet sleep, not yet night, but the quiet beginning of both. Night settles slowly over the village. It does not fall all at once. It drifts in, gently, as the last traces of light fade from the sky. The blue of evening deepens into darker tones until shapes become softer, less defined. Outside, the paths grow quiet again. Movement becomes less frequent. Doors close, voices lower. The world begins to fold inward. Inside the home, the fire remains the center of everything. Its glow is warmer now against the surrounding darkness. It flickers across wooden walls, across simple objects, across tired faces. The room feels smaller at night, not because it has changed, but because the outside world has disappeared into shadow. What remains is only this space, this warmth, this quiet. You sit close to the fire, not always speaking, not always moving, just being there. The body, after a long day, begins to slow in deeper ways now. Muscles soften gradually. The weight of fatigue settles more fully into your limbs. Not sharp, not painful, just present. Breathing becomes slower, more even. The rhythm of the body begins to match the stillness of the room. Around you, others settle in the same way. There is more silence now between actions, more stillness between words. Occasional conversation begins, but it is low and brief. Nothing demands attention anymore. The day's urgency has fully dissolved. Outside, the sky continues to darken slowly. The last traces of daylight fade into soft blue and then into deeper tones of evening. The world begins to quiet again, but differently than before. Not the silence of night yet, but the calm before it. Inside, the warmth of the fire grows more noticeable as the only strong light. It becomes the center of the room again, the place everything gathers around. And you feel it clearly now. The transition is complete. Work is done. The body is no longer required to move with purpose, only to exist in stillness for a while. Fatigue is present, but softened by rest in sight. And so the evening holds you gently. Not yet sleep, not yet night, but the quiet beginning of both. Night settles slowly over the village. It does not fall all at once. It drifts in, gently, as the last traces of light fade from the sky. The blue of evening deepens into darker tones until shapes become softer, less defined. Outside, the paths grow quiet again. Movement becomes less frequent. Doors close.
The room grows quieter as the fire lowers. Its light is softer now, no longer filling every corner. Shadows settle into stillness. The air feels thicker, calmer, as if it too is resting. You lie down or lean into your sleeping place. The body welcomes the position, not because it is perfect, but because it allows stillness. After a long day, stillness is enough. Your muscles release slowly, not all at once, one small part at a time. Shoulders soften, arms grow heavy, legs settle into the surface beneath you. The breath becomes steady, gentle, even. The sounds inside the home fade. Movement becomes rare. Others are settling as well, finding their own quiet positions. The fire gives a soft crackle now and then, a low, distant sound, easy to ignore, easy to follow into rest. Outside, the night continues its quiet presence. The village has nearly stilled. Only faint sounds remain, drifting in and out of awareness. A distant step, a quiet shift of wood, then nothing again. The mind begins to loosen its hold on the day. Thoughts come, but they do not stay long. They drift like slow-moving clouds, fading before they fully form. You feel yourself moving closer to sleep, but this sleep is not deep, not yet. It is light, fragile, a thin layer between waking and rest. The kind that can be broken easily. A small sound, a shift in position, a change in temperature. Any of these can bring awareness back. This is the nature of medieval sleep. It does not fall heavily all at once. It begins softly, gently, almost uncertain. You drift for a moment, then rise slightly back into awareness, then drift again. The body tries to settle deeper, but the world does not fully allow it. The environment is not silent enough, not steady enough, not comfortable enough. Every small detail matters. The texture beneath you, the warmth of the air, the fading heat of the fire, the presence of others nearby. All of it shapes how sleep arrives. And so, it comes slowly, in layers, not complete, not continuous. You feel your thoughts becoming less clear, more distant, but still present enough to notice. This is not the deep rest of later hours. It is the beginning, the first step into night, and it is uncertain. The body is tired, very tired, but the mind does not fully release yet. It hovers between waking and sleeping, listening, sensing, waiting. The fire lowers even more. Its glow becomes faint. The room darkens further. Shadows blend together until they are no longer separate. Only darkness remains. The night deepens around you, and within that darkness, sleep continues its slow approach, not fully arrived, but gently, patiently getting closer. Sleep does not settle in one smooth motion. It moves in waves, soft and uneven. You drift for a while, carried gently into rest. Then, without warning, awareness returns, not fully, just enough to notice that you are still here, still lying in the same place, still surrounded by the quiet of the room. Your eyes may remain closed, your body may not move at all, but the mind rises slightly like something floating just beneath the surface. A sound may have caused it, a faint crack from the dying fire, a shift from someone nearby, the soft rustle of straw beneath another body. These sounds are small, almost nothing, and yet they are enough to interrupt the fragile layer of sleep. You rest again, breathing slow, body still. Then sleep returns, but only lightly. It never feels complete, never fully settled. This is how the night moves forward, in fragments, in pieces that never quite join together. You drift for a moment, then a change in temperature touches your skin. The fire has faded further now. The warmth in the room has lessened. The air feels cooler, slipping gently across your face, your hands, your shoulders. Your body reacts without fully waking. A small movement, a shift beneath the blanket, a subtle pull for warmth, then stillness again. But the sleep has already been disturbed. It does not return to the same depth as before. It hovers, light, unsteady. The night continues like this, cycle after cycle. Rest, wake, rest again. Never long enough to feel complete, never deep enough to fully restore the body. Around you, others move through the same quiet pattern. Someone turns slowly in their sleep. Another breath changes rhythm for a moment. A soft murmur escapes from someone's lips, then fades back into silence. No one is fully awake, but no one is fully gone either. The entire room exists in this shared restless state. Outside, the night continues its quiet presence. The village has nearly stilled. Only faint sounds remain, drifting in and out of awareness. A distant step, a quiet shift of wood, then nothing again. The mind begins to loosen its hold on the day. Thoughts come, but they do not stay long. They drift like slow-moving clouds, fading before they fully form. You feel yourself moving closer to sleep, but this sleep is not deep, not yet. It is light, fragile, a thin layer between waking and rest. The kind that can be broken easily. A small sound, a shift in position, a change in temperature. Any of these can bring awareness back. This is the nature of medieval sleep. It does not fall heavily all at once. It begins softly, gently, almost uncertain. You drift for a moment, then rise slightly back into awareness, then drift again. The body tries to settle deeper, but the world does not fully allow it. The environment is not silent enough, not steady enough, not comfortable enough. Every small detail matters. The texture beneath you, the warmth of the air, the fading heat of the fire, the presence of others nearby. All of it shapes how sleep arrives. And so, it comes slowly, in layers, not complete, not continuous. You feel your thoughts becoming less clear, more distant, but still present enough to notice. This is not the deep rest of later hours. It is the beginning, the first step into night, and it is uncertain. The body is tired, very tired,
but the mind does not fully release yet. It hovers between waking and sleeping, listening, sensing, waiting. The fire lowers even more. Its glow becomes faint. The room darkens further. Shadows blend together until they are no longer separate. Only darkness remains. The night deepens around you, and within that darkness, sleep continues its slow approach, not fully arrived, but gently, patiently getting closer. Sleep does not settle in one smooth motion. It moves in waves, soft and uneven. You drift for a while, carried gently into rest. Then, without warning, awareness returns, not fully, just enough to notice that you are still here, still lying in the same place, still surrounded by the quiet of the room. Your eyes may remain closed, your body may not move at all, but the mind rises slightly, like something floating just beneath the surface. A sound may have caused it, a faint crack from the dying fire, a shift from someone nearby, the soft rustle of straw beneath another body. These sounds are small, almost nothing, and yet they are enough to interrupt the fragile layer of sleep. You rest again, breathing slow, body still. Then sleep returns, but only lightly. It never feels complete, never fully settled. This is how the night moves forward, in fragments, in pieces that never quite join together. You drift for a moment, then a change in temperature touches your skin. The fire has faded further now. The warmth in the room has lessened. The air feels cooler, slipping gently across your face, your hands, your shoulders. Your body reacts without fully waking. A small movement, a shift beneath the blanket, a subtle pull for warmth, then stillness again. But the sleep has already been disturbed. It does not return to the same depth as before. It hovers, light, unsteady. The night continues like this, cycle after cycle. Rest, wake, rest again. Never long enough to feel complete, never deep enough to fully restore the body. Around you, others move through the same quiet pattern. Someone turns slowly in their sleep. Another breath changes rhythm for a moment. A soft murmur escapes from someone's lips, then fades back into silence. No one is fully awake, but no one is fully gone either. The entire room exists in this shared restless state. Outside, the night continues its quiet presence. The village has nearly stilled. Only faint sounds remain, drifting in and out of awareness. A distant step, a quiet shift of wood, then nothing again. The mind begins to loosen its hold on the day. Thoughts come, but they do not stay long. They drift like slow-moving clouds, fading before they fully form. You feel yourself moving closer to sleep, but this sleep is not deep, not yet. It is light, fragile, a thin layer between waking and rest. The kind that can be broken easily. A small sound, a shift in position, a change in temperature. Any of these can bring awareness back. This is the nature of medieval sleep. It does not fall.
At some quiet point in the night, something changes again. Not outside, not in the world, but within you. You wake more fully this time, not completely alert, but no longer drifting. Your awareness rises to the surface and stays there. Your eyes may still be closed at first. Your body remains still, but you know you are awake. The darkness around you feels deeper now. The fire has long since faded. No glow remains. Only the memory of warmth, now replaced by a cool, steady air. You open your eyes slowly, or perhaps you keep them closed. It does not matter. The room is almost the same either way. Shadows have merged into one. There are no clear shapes, only a soft, endless darkness. The sounds of the night feel closer in this moment. Not louder, just clearer. A breath from someone nearby, the faint shift of fabric, the quiet settling of wood. Each sound stands alone, separated by long stretches of silence. You lie there, awake, not restless, not anxious, just present. This kind of waking is not unusual. It is part of the night, part of the rhythm that repeats again and again. There is no pressure to fall back asleep immediately, no expectation that sleep must be continuous. So you remain still. Your breathing continues, slow and even. The body is tired, but calm. The mind begins to move gently. Thoughts appear, soft and unstructured, not demanding attention, just passing through. You may think of the day that is past, the work, the movement, the warmth of the sun, the quiet moments of rest. Or perhaps your thoughts drift somewhere else entirely, to simple things, to nothing in particular. They did not stay long. They come and go, like the faint sounds of the night itself. Around you, others may be awake as well, not speaking, not moving much, but present in their own quiet awareness. Someone shifts slightly. Another breath changes rhythm. These small signs suggest that you are not alone in this moment of waking. And yet, it feels deeply personal, a private space within the shared darkness. In some nights, people might sit up during this time, slowly, carefully, without disturbing others. They might remain still, simply existing in the quiet. Sometimes a quiet prayer is whispered, soft words spoken into the darkness, barely louder than breath, not for any audience, just for themselves. Other times, nothing is said at all. The mind rests in silence. The body waits. The night continues. Outside, the world remains calm. A distant sound may drift through the air, a faint movement of an animal, the soft touch of wind against the walls. Then stillness again. You remain awake for some time. There is no clear measure of how long. Minutes feel longer here. Time stretches in the darkness. Then slowly, almost without noticing, your body begins to drift again. The wakefulness softens. Thoughts become less clear. The sounds of the room grow distant once more. Your breathing deepens slightly. The weight of rest returns. You do not force it. It simply happens. The mind releases its hold. The body settles back into stillness, and sleep comes again. Light, fragile, but present. Another fragment in the long, broken rhythm of the night. The night continues for a little while longer, soft, quiet, unbroken in its stillness, even if sleep within it never truly is. You drift again, gently, back into rest. Not as deeply as before, not as long, but enough. Enough for the body to settle, enough for the mind to loosen once more. This second sleep is lighter, shorter. It carries you only part of the way toward morning, and yet it feels natural, familiar, like something the body has always known. The air remains cool around you. The room stays dark, wrapped in the final hours before dawn. There are still small awakenings, still soft movements, still the quiet presence of others resting nearby. But everything feels calmer now, more settled. The deepest part of the night has already passed. What remains is gentle, a slow fading of darkness into something softer. Outside, the world prepares once more. Though nothing is seen yet, something begins to change. The same quiet shift that came before morning yesterday, and the day before that, and countless days before. The sky, far beyond sight, begins to lighten in the smallest way. The darkness loses its depth. The air changes almost without notice. Inside, your body responds again. Breathing shifts slightly. Awareness rises, not sharply, but like a soft ripple. You do not wake all at once. You simply move closer to waking. Sleep loosens its hold, gently, naturally. Around you, others begin to stir in the same quiet way. A shift beneath a blanket, a slow breath turning into a small movement. The room is still dark, but no longer as heavy as before. The first bird call again in the distance, soft, familiar, the same gentle beginning that comes every morning. You remain lying for a moment longer, not fully asleep, not fully awake, just resting in that calm space between both. The night has passed once again, not as a single deep rest, but as many small pieces, fragments of sleep, moments of waking, quiet hours of simply being. This is how nights have always been here. Not perfect, not complete, but steady in their own quiet way. And still, the day returns, as it always does, without question, without pause. The light grows slowly. The room begins to take shape again. The world prepares to move forward once more, and you rise into it gently, carrying the soft remains of night with you. Not fully rested, but ready enough, because this is the rhythm of life here. Day and night, work and rest, waking and sleeping, all flowing together in quiet repetition. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, just time moving softly forward. And as the morning begins again, the memory of the night fades just as gently, like a distant echo, like a dream that was never fully held. The world continues, calm, steady, unbroken in its own way. And somewhere, as another night waits far ahead, the same quiet story will begin again. The air is soft, the light is gentle, and everything moves slowly, exactly as it should.